and well met, or should I say, welcome back to Sunnydale, because we are here with the and final session of our Buffy the Vampire Slayer special, where we were all isekai'd into the bodies of mostly nameless mooks, except for one of us. I am Eric Scott DeVee, founding member here at the Dungeon Scrawlers. You can find my writing online. Join our Discord. We got lots of links and stuff to check out. And without further ado, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexandra Pitchford, aka Allie for short, and I am a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. You can find me on Twitter at Lexi Phoenix. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/Alexandra Pitchford, and I am like playing myself, but in the body of Harmony Kendall, of all people. As you can see in our fancy little nameplates. Yes.
Didn't want to cut you off. I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy. The Silver series is Rhiannon Held, and space opera as RZ Held, the Amsterdam Institute series, which is novellas. So if you want something bite-sized to try me out, those are great. And I have 2 dice partners to tell you about. Norse Foundry specializes in metal dice. When you roll them, it feels like you're skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. You can find their dice and accessories at norsefoundry.com. Phoenix Dice is named for the creatures that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett, usually cutting it up in chat, posting silly polls under the handle Rumpus Imperator. Just happy to be here. Over to you, Randy.
Hi, Randy Henderson. I'm a dusty statue with like a bird nest in my hair on the campus of Dungeon Scrawlers University, and I write stuff, and that's me.
And this is our esteemed game master, Chris the Gray. Take it away, Chris.
All right. Hello again, everyone. Greetings, Scoobies. So we find ourselves in our second and final episode, this time for real, of the Isekai Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. Again, we are using the Unisystem rules by Eden Studios, which is the officially licensed product for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, for those of you who really like Angel. And we're doing our standard Isekai riff on that, which is, in this particular case, that our noble players have found themselves in the bodies of, as Eric points out, mostly nameless characters on the campus of Sunnydale High 1.0 in what we believe, I think, to be season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And just to recap, for those of you who might not have seen episode 1 or just haven't been part of episode 1 in a long time, the players awoke inside the bodies of their characters in game in the computer science classroom of Jenny Calendar, techno-pagan, in the high school, late in the afternoon of a particular high school day. I think it's, I want to say, late February 1998, if I recall correctly. And they came to grips with who and what they were, and then immediately sought out the library in an attempt to find their special guest star, aka a friend, Ed Greenwood and or Rupert Giles. Along the way, they encountered some of the exciting fun of being in high school, for those of you who might not remember those good old days, including a somewhat embarrassing encounter with some members of the swim team, where we discovered that everyone here was a nerd, except for Allie, who was one of the cool kids. They got to the library just as the period was ending, ahead of a mysterious figure that was chasing them and telling them to stop. Ended up discovering that our special guest star, Ed Greenwood, was not Ed Greenwood, but was instead just Rupert Giles.
It did take us a while to figure out whether it was Ed or Giles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you finally did discover that the Commonwealth Librarian was just was not a double Commonwealth Librarian, but a single Commonwealth Librarian.
Didn't catch that until now.
There you go.
Yeah.
How did you not know that would have been what I would have him do?
In retrospect.
Yes. Very predictable. I'm nothing if not very predictable. And so you shared with him, much to his consternation, a lot of information about what you knew was going on in the world around you. He attempted to share back with you a bit more measured information about what was going on in the world around you. You persuaded him that it was critically important that he warn Jenny Calendar of the potential danger facing her, because there was Luce and Jealous, who quite possibly would be killing her tonight in canon. And so he went off to warn her in her classroom. While you tarried a bit, he agreed to leave the weapons cage, aka the book cage, in the library, which is conveniently behind Randy, a picture of the library. Thank you, Randy, again for that. A visual image of Sunnydale Library 1.0. And you were setting out after having decided that it wasn't a good idea before the school day was over to be caught roaming the hallways with battle axes and maces and such. And lo and behold, you blundered into the person who was waiting for you to emerge, Principal Snyder. The good principal, although he is far from that, succeeded at rounding you all up in the library and chastising you over the fact that you were clearly moving around without a hall pass. Eric employed a very unusual method of attempting to distract the good principal, which nevertheless did not avoid you receiving not one, not two, but 3 detentions. You were escorted by Principal Snyder to the detention room, aka the cafeteria, where Coach Marin, who was the coach of the Sunnydale High swim team, the members of whom were soon to become quite scaly, was busy supervising detention. You spent a fairer chunk of time there, long enough for the sun to go down, in detention, and then were released back into the wild. You emerged from detention, were headed down the hallway that was going to lead some of you to the library, where you were going to acquire weapons from that hopefully unlocked book cage. And some of you had decided it was a good idea to head straight up to Miss Calendar's classroom, just to make sure that things there were not amiss. Just as you were coming, you're about 150 feet away from each other, sort of moving off to that. And library group, if I recall correctly, was Allie and Randy. Is that correct? Okay. And go straight upstairs group was Eric, Joel, and Rhiannon. Just as you were approaching the library, from down yet another corridor came the very dressed in their Sunday best, well-dressed student who clearly recognized Harmony, called out to Harmony, in fact. Harm, is that you? It's Stacy. Wait up. And came over in your direction. When you got a good look at Stacy, you discovered that the reason Stacy was in her Sunday best was because she'd been buried in it. And she was looking very pale and fangy at this particular moment. And she said, as we concluded our last episode, "Hey, have you seen Buffy? I've got a message for her," and then rushed at you all. So, any questions before we begin?
No.
I will just quickly say that when you said buried in Sunday best, it made me remember I want to take a note about what I want to be buried in. I don't want someone else choosing what I'm dressed in when I die, because I don't think they'll get my aesthetic right. But anyway, to continue. Sorry.
I just want to
your
take
afterlife aesthetic.
That's right.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate how you're isekai'd into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What do? Save Jenny Calendar. Let's go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like how that was our.
That...
I just saying, I like how that was our impulse before we realized that we were like here on the day of the episode.
On that particular day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I recall great disappointment or great anxiety around the issue of Jenny Calendar when you awoke in her classroom, Erica. I seem to think that maybe you might have a crush on Jenny Calendar.
You know what?
Young Eric
It was
thought that they did.
1998. Okay. So
okay. Moving on.
Vampire rushing at us.
Yes, indeed. Well,
I'm going to
vampire
say,
rushing in. Allie
what's
and
the
Randy,
message?
you will
What's
yell from
the
down.
message?
you will yell from down the hallway. All right, so I'm going to introduce you all to combat using
Okay.
the unit system. We're going to learn this together. It's pretty straightforward. Yes, nice to meet you, Randy. Combat is looking forward to meeting you. There are 3 components to a turn. A turn is kind of like a round in classic D&D. You know, any edition has rounds, right? A turn is like a round. And there are 3 components to a turn, a combat turn. Combat turn's about 5 seconds in the uni system. I know that sounded strange. The first component of it is intentions, where basically you tell me what you're going to do, which is very much like second edition Dungeons and Dragons, where you announce what you're going to do in a round before the round begins. This is where you can do things like spend drama points. We talked a tiny bit about drama points in our last session, but as they come up tonight, we'll expand upon them and explain them in greater detail. But this is one of the places where you might tell me that you're going to use one for, say, a heroic action, which would increase your combat, or other skills in that particular round, depending upon which one you pick. At the conclusion of intentions, we go to the initiative phase. You don't roll for initiative in the unit system. Initiative is decided by a combination of common sense and the dexterity of the participants in the fight. And so you now actually all have character sheets, unlike the last time we played. They aren't up on the screen for anybody to see, for anyone watching us to see, but you all have those character sheets. The relevant statistic for all of you for initiative is dexterity. So 2 of you, Eric and Joel, have a dexterity of 3. 3 of you, Rhiannon, Allie, and Randy, have a dexterity of 2. Human dexterity is measured 1 to 5. 5 being the most dexterous people on the planet, 1 being total klutzes. So 2 is about average. 3 is slightly above average, to give you a sense of the characters that you're inhabiting and their relevant dexterities. This vampire might have a better dex than you. If so, it will probably go first. Okay, so intentions, initiative, and then actions. As a normal person, in a typical round or turn of combat, you get 1 attack action and 1 defense action. Attack actions are pretty straightforward. You tell me what kind of an attack you want to launch, and there's broad categories, and we'll discover them as we go. But some of the more common ones are punch, kick, and grapple, right? 3 examples of pretty common attack actions. Or you tell me, what kind of a defense action you'd like to take. Some common defense actions are dodge, block, and parry, for example. You get no penalty assessed to you using 2 actions, 1 attack, 1 defense as a regular person in a typical round. You can have a couple choices as to whether you want to do something a little bit fancy. Full defense allows you to get 2 defense actions. So instead of 1 attack and 1 defense action, you get 2 defense actions. And they're each at +3. However, you get no attack actions that you can use in that round. But if you're getting your butt kicked, or you're concerned you might, probably not a bad idea. Randy Brava's character sheet behind him. Clever.
Nice.
Brings up, what was I going to say? You can use the 2 defense actions. So full defense does that for you. Full offense just adds +2 to your attack for the round, and you can't use a defense action. It doesn't give you an additional attack, but it does take away your defense action in exchange for giving you +2 to that attack. Something else really basic to know is that for each person, in addition to the first one that is attacking a particular target, up to 4, because more people than that get in the way, everybody gets +1 to their attack actions. So if it's 2 of you facing 1 vampire, each of you gets +1 to your attack actions against that particular vampire. So those are the basics of attack and defense in this system. So round 1, intentions. I know what the vampire is going to do. So Randy, Allie, who'd like to tell me first what you're going to do?
Well, my thinking is that if trying to run, this thing's vampire, so probably can easily outpace us. So I'm going to at least try to maybe dodge out of the way and like if she's coming at us, I'm gonna sock her. That's what I'm gonna do. Gonna duck
So you're
aside
taking
and yeah.
one defensive action, one offensive action. You're going to
Yeah.
dodge and you're going to punch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you like to spend any drama points, or are you happy?
I'm good for now.
All right. Fair enough. Randy?
So what's the blocking? Sorry.
Where are you all?
Yeah.
You're in a hallway. The vampire's about 40 feet away from you at the corner. You're
Okay.
about 15 feet away, sort of on your right, leading up from the double doors to the library. There's a lot of weapons in that library, Randy.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of comes down to who goes first. But I mean, the vampire's probably not going to attack both of you.
True. Okay. And then is Allie between me and Stacy?
You're
Or
sort of
am I-
standing next. You're sort of standing next to
Okay.
each other. You're moving abreast down the hallway.
All right. I don't. I think even if we punch the vampire, it's not going to kill the vampire. So I'm going to go for weapons while
Okay.
Allie, who has much more combat skill than I do, holds off the vampire.
So you're going to basically use your actions for moving this particular round.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. Again, you get about 5 seconds worth of that. There's a rule for how much ground you can cover, but a lot of it's common sense. And so get to the weapon cage is an achievable goal for this round. Okay, so that's the two people who are immediately enmeshed in combat. 150 feet away, there are 3 more of you. So I kind of just want to know what you're up to. I know Eric's going to yell, "What's the message?" I thought for a minute there it was going to be "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" But I'm not sure anybody would get that one here in 1998. I don't remember when that one came out. So, what beyond yelling do you want to do, Eric?
Well, we're going to investigate the computer lab, right? And I don't think we'd be all that helpful unarmed anyway.
That seems unlikely. Yes.
So there might be backup in that computer lab. I'm going to continue heading toward the computer lab and try and get in.
All right. So continue on in that direction, leaving your friends to die. I mean, deal with this threat. Got it. Okay.
Well, we took a vote before the session, and if anyone's going to get turned into a vampire, it's obviously going to be Harmony/Allie.
I do
missed
actually
that
recall that vote. I do
Thanks,
actually recall
thanks,
that vote.
thanks.
It was a secret ballot.
Oh.
Okay. So,
I mean-
Joel,
Well, how far away from the computer lab are we at this point? Is it like right
pretty
there?
far. If you
Okay.
recall, you had to go across a big courtyard, up a flight of stairs.
I thought so. In that case, I am going to move down the. I'm going to move down the corridor toward Stacy, and looking as I go to see if there's anything wooden I can break off to form a stake.
Would you like to use a drama point?
I think this seems like a totally appropriate time to use a drama point.
Okay. So using a drama point in this particular instance, one of the uses of drama point is something called plot twist, which allows you to do things like say, is there a mop handle that's available easily in this hallway that I could just snap in half as I go, or a flagpole or something like that? But it is once per session.
I
Do you
think
want to
our-
use it now?
I think so. I think arming up seems. I think as I run by, I see that the janitor has left his mop bucket. So I pull it out, stomp on it just above the head. So I now have a 6 foot long broken off piece of wood to
All right.
I can makeshift little spear with. And now
Spear stake.
Yeah. So now I'm running down the hallway toward them with my
Spear
in
stake.
hand. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you will keep track of your drama points. So you're
Mhm.
now down from 12 to 11. The amount of distance, sort of in game, right, that typically a person is allowed to cover is Dex plus Con. So in the case of your particular character, Dex is 3, Con is 3. So that's 6. In yards per turn. So 6 times 3, 18. Have I got that right? 18 feet?
18 yards. So
18 yards. So
out of versus 50. So, or out of, yeah, we're 50 yards away. I crossed 18 this round.
okay. So I'm going to just let you get to where they are because I'm allowed
Okay.
to common sense this as the director because it is cinematographics. I don't know. It's cool. And so as a consequence, I'm going to just sort of let that, but I just wanted to put the rule out there so that people interested in Unisystem knew what the rule was. Okay. So that's what Joel's up to. Last but not least.
I am now picturing Joel pole vaulting with a mop, and the mop breaks off and he lands with a spear. But, you know, anyway.
I can totally see that happening in Buffy. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Visualize it however you like. Okay. So, Rhiannon, last but not least.
So the computer lab is a bit far away. But
It is.
there are presumably other doors along this corridor.
There are.
So do the closest ones have labels?
I would not be surprised if they had numbers. They don't necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Classrooms don't necessarily have specific designations. They just have, they typically have numbers. Are you looking for something in particular?
Something that seems like a source of improvised weapons, but I think just whatever the closest one is. I'm gonna.
Do you wish to spend a drama point?
No, I'm saving it.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be a good director if I didn't try to tempt you. All right, saving the drama point. So moving into whatever the nearest classroom where you can see if you could find something in it. Got it. Okay. So that. Sorry.
I don't. Because that's not really offensive. That's sort of defensive. But so 2 defensive actions. I want to like drag a table, not to block the door yet, but to be ready to block the door.
Inside of that room.
Inside of that room, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Sensible.
All right. So that was the intentions phase. The initiative phase. I was in fact not just pulling your leg. The vampire has a higher dex than all of you, so the vampire will be going first. The vampire's dexterity fortuitously does not entitle it to multiple offensive and defensive actions, but just one. So yes, Joel.
Does my situational awareness give me an initiative bonus in this case?
It doesn't. It actually keeps you from being stabbed in the back. That's one of the things situational awareness does. Okay. So as indicated, there's something called fast reaction time that gives you an initiative bonus, but none of you have that. Okay. Typical vampires often do, at least the experienced ones. This one is a newborn, a fledgling, if you will. Anyway, so the vampire will go first and come charging in the direction of Allie and Randy. It has no preconceived notions about who it wants to eat. And so I'm going to do what I do in these situations, which is roll odd even with the little die that I have for this particular instance. In this case, Randy, I'm going to say your character is odder than Allie's pretty cool character. So you get the odd numbers. Allie gets the even numbers. Okay. And it's odd. So you're rushing towards it. It's rushing towards you. And oof, you sort of collide. It attempts to... Yep, go ahead.
I was rushing towards the library.
But yeah, he was going for the weapons in the library. So
it is... The library is 15 feet.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
We get it.
Sorry if I didn't theater of the mind that one adequately previously. Okay.
No worries.
So you'll collide with each other at about that point. It will attempt to grapple with you, which is the first thing that it needs to do before it bites you. Vampires are very big on the biting. The thing to know about... Yep, go ahead.
No.
Okay. The thing to know about combat system for most NPCs in this game is rather than being assigned a particular value, or rather than being assigned a complicated value, they're just given a flat number for most of the things that they can do. So in this particular case, the grapple score for a fledgling vampire is 14. So it is going to attempt to grapple you. It needs a 9 to succeed unless you're able to dodge. Now, you didn't declare a defensive action, but I'm going to let you, Randy, because this is our first round of learning the Unisystem combat, say, yeah, I'd like to reserve a possible defensive action for a dodge just in case the vampire goes first. I'm going to let you have said that to me during the initiative, during the
Okay.
intention section. Wink, wink.
Thank you.
Something you might want to think about in the future. So
Okay.
here you are going to attempt to dodge. Now, the way you do that is you need to beat the vampire's 14 in order to be able to successfully dodge. And to dodge, you use, let me look my handy dandy thing here, dexterity plus acrobatics, if you have it as a skill, which I don't think you do.
Mm-mm.
Dexterity plus kung fu. Do you have kung fu? I think you might.
I have
Let's
a
take a
1.
look.
Yeah.
Okay. So your dexterity is a 2. Your kung fu is a 1. So that's a 3 plus a d10. Now remember, if you'd like to use a drama point for a heroic action, again, you would normally have needed to let me know. I will use a drama point for a heroic action ahead of your initiative. But in this particular instance, I'm willing to let you do that since this is our first round of combat in the unit system. Or you could just roll and see if you can beat a 14. What do you want to do?
I can't beat a 14 even if I roll a 10. So I think that I will use a drama point. Geez, Stacy, you wouldn't even pay attention to me when you were alive. And then
The irony
Now you
is
want to
you
make
wouldn't.
out.
You wouldn't. Yep. Okay, so that gives you an automatic 10 to that dodge. You add 3 to it, plus a 1 is 14. Defenders win ties. So you will, if you want to roll, you can see how adroit you were. If you don't need to roll, we can just say you move out of the way at the last possible instant. What would you prefer?
So I mean I don't need to roll, but if I roll,
So-
does it affect anything? Or I mean, what is that possible I lose? I just to see.
No, just how cool it is all it
Oh.
really affects.
Oh, okay. A 9.
So pretty
pretty cool,
damn
though.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So even though you've never really played football, it's like you were ready for this particular moment because Stacy was rushing right at you and just at the last moment. So Stacy had to go hurtling by. You dodged nimbly out of the way and rolled into the library, door swinging closed behind you. See how cinematographic. I'm going to say that's a word, even if it isn't. That was awesome.
I won't
Okay.
say I've watched a lot of the football players a lot, but I'm just saying.
There you go.
Picked up a thing too.
Okay. So that was the action of the vampire. Allie and Randy both have the same dexterity number. Randy, you're already kind of in motion, so I'm going to let you finish. Your first action was crashing through those doors and getting out of the way. You're at the book cage. Because you dodged, you can't quite get inside it, but you're there. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Allie,
Yes.
you want to give Stacy some love?
Yeah.
Okay. So punching. Okay. This is an attack action.
Yeah.
For a punch, what you do is you take your dexterity plus your kung fu to be able to try to hit.
Okay.
You're attempting to hit this vampire. This vampire has a combat rating of 12. So you need to get a 13 or better with dexterity plus kung fu. Your dexterity is a 2. Your kung fu is a
The 1. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 3, a 13. So if you roll a 10 without using a heroic action, you can succeed in punching this vampire. Or, in much the same way I did with Randy, I'll let you say, I think I'd like to use a drama point.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I would like to use a drama point because that.
All right, fair enough.
I would have to roll a 10.
Yes,
So, yes,
now you need a 15, so 2 or better.
2 or better. Okay,
2 or better.
got a 3.
All right. All you needed was a 2 or better.
Yeah.
You did get 1 6, or you actually, because you technically rolled a 15, right? Or
Yeah.
16. You got 4 successes because that's what it rolls onto for success purposes. So we're about to talk about damage and how that goes. Okay. So the way damage goes is for a punch for a person, it's 2 times your strength. So in your case, your strength is 2.
Okay.
So 2 times 2 is 4. You are adding to that the additional number of successes that you received. So you rolled a 16, that gives you 4 successes. So now you're up to 8 points. and it's something called bash damage, which is just treated normally.
Okay.
When we get to different types of damage, I'll explain how they work. So you just did 8 points of damage to this vampire. This vampire has more than 8 hit points, but you did connect solidly with the vampire. The vampire has what they refer to as vamped out. So it's got its game face on.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen Buffy. I'm sure you know how that bumpy game face looks. And it's got its fangs and its yellow eyes. It will hiss at you and say, once you've applied a punch.
Yeah, I think like seeing what happened with Randy, I will, I'll have dodged to the side. I'll just go, "Hey, bitch," and just slam her in the face.
The irony, of course, being here that was also true. what you said and what Randy said were both true of Stacy and life. Okay, so now we will come to the
Poor
remaining
Stacy.
players.
Poor Stacy. She did not deserve this, I'm assuming.
No one deserves to be
No.
turned into a vampire. That is clearly a thing. No
I
one
do
deserves.
hear her mom is pretty cool, though. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's keep going.
She's got it going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I've heard that too. Okay, so now we're dealing with the people who are outside of the initial combat. So we're going to deal with them in initiative order. So there, just because we're learning the system, right? Eric and Joel both have 3s. I'm going to say Joel goes first because Joel's closing. Joel, you go. You grab that thing out of the janitor's bucket. You snap it, and now you have a stake spear. And you have arrived at the edge of combat with Stacy. Randy went ahead. So now it's you and Allie shoulder to shoulder against Stacy. Okay? Okay.
Tracking.
Next is Eric. Eric, remind me what you were up to. You're going off in the opposite direction.
I'm going into the computer lab.
Okay. So you're off screen and will be out of this combat for all intents and purposes. Got it.
Okay.
So I won't come back to you in the next round.
No worries.
You're now an observer. Okay.
No worries.
And finally, Rhiannon. Now I'm just going to roll some percentile dice because that's my usual shtick for deciding cool things, right? Right solidly in the middle. So you pop the doors to what is a pretty typical classroom. There are available desks that one could use to blockade that door. Looking around, there's nothing that's like a weapon per se, but maybe there's something heavy in here. Hard to say, but nothing obvious. Do you want to instead just push that desk in front of the door?
I mean, I want other people to, so I'm going to yell like over here.
Okay.
I want people to get in and then barricade the door.
So while holding the door ajar, you'll yell to them, "Get over here." Okay. You can see that Eric is running off in one direction. The rest of the group is running off in another direction. This is classic Dungeon Scrawlers. So, okay.
Yeah, kind of.
Get her! Yeah.
Except this time I'm not running off after Eric.
That is absolutely true. All right. So round 2. We are at the intentions phase. I'll start with, I'm skipping you forever, Eric, or for this combat. I'm going instead to Randy, who is in a separate room. Do you wish Randy to get into that book cage, get into that weapons thing and grab a weapon?
I do. I think I will grab. I mean, I'm unclear on the system in terms of what I can do here. So I would try. So what I would ideally do is try to grab the crossbow, especially if it's loaded already. Is it loaded already?
You won't know till you open the door to the weapons cabinet, which is closed. The
okay.
door to the door to the thing you're hoping, really hoping, is unlocked like Giles promised.
Okay.
And if it is,
so
you'll open in both doors and then grab a weapon in this
I'll
room.
open, grab the crossbow if it's loaded. If not, grab like something pointy and sticky, and stick-like. And I mean, ideally, I would grab both, but I'm not sure. And then I guess those are all.
That will about finish your round, given that it's about 5 seconds. Okay. Thank you, Rhiannon. You're yelling out for them to come to you. They are steadfastly ignoring you. What would you like to do this round?
Sort of reserve an action in case somebody needs to retreat.
Okay.
So.
All right, noted. That brings us to our combatants. Allie.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna need something weapony. So I might go ahead and use my plot twist if I
Mhm.
can.
Oh, you
See if,
certainly can.
see
A
if I
good
can
director loves it when his players use their plot twist.
see if I can find like because like I'm looking around trying to find something, but I also know her attention's now on me. So
That's certainly true. You punched her a moment
I
ago.
did punch her. So that, you know what? I'm gonna keep her attention on me. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna keep her attention on me, and I'm going to note a yeah. I'm just keep her focus, and I'll try to like hit her again if at all
So
possible.
punch, dodge. Reserve 2 actions, 1 for a punch, 1 for a dodge.
Yeah.
Do you want to use a drama point this round for a heroic action, or you want to keep that, to
I'll
yourself?
I'll use one. I'll use one
Okay,
for heroic action.
got it. Check. Joel, you're on site with a pokey stick.
So I will be attempting to hold Stacy at a distance, but attacking with the spear, but trying to keep it between us so that to get to me, she's got to run on the spear.
Okay.
And I will also reserve a defensive action.
Okay.
No heroic action this turn.
So with this pokey stick, you have a couple options. You can use the pokey stick as it is designed for pokey sticking, or you can attempt a stake through the heart, which is an attack maneuver. Quite obviously, that's pretty tricky, as opposed to just stick the vampire with the pointy end. And I'm not cheating much by telling you, and probably is more effective when the vampire is significantly wounded or you are a combat badass. So maybe just pokey poke, but I would be a bad director if I didn't give you the option.
Yeah, no. Just pokey poke this time, which is
okay. Pokey poke it is. All right. So you have declared your actions. That brings us to initiative. Once again, the vampire goes first. You called her a bitch. She'll return the favor, bitch, and grapple at you. Again, her grapple is a 14. So you're going to attempt to dodge against a 14.
Okay.
Once again, dodge is dexterity plus kung fu plus 10. You need to get 14 or better.
So I can't do that.
That seems difficult. The DM points out. Yeah.
Yeah. I even if I rolled a 10, I couldn't do it. So
again, I'll let you use that drama
heroic
point if you want
to. I was gonna save it for.
Okay.
I was gonna use it for punching her, but if I'm on.
I mean, you do you. She's not going to be able to grapple you and bite you in the same round.
I'll let her grapple me.
Okay, that might make it easier for you. I mean, there are situational modifiers.
In world, I'm trying to dodge. I'm just not fast enough.
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah. But on an out of character perspective, I'm taking that hit so that I can reserve the other thing.
So what will happen is you've channeled her inner mean girl. So what she's going to do by way of grappling you is grab you by the hair. So she's grabbing your hair and trying to sort of spin you around, rather than going to grab you in a more wrestler effective way to bite you on the neck. She's gone for the hair grab.
We've gone full.
Her.
Yeah,
we called her a bitch.
We've gone high school cat fight at this point.
Yes, that's what this is. Okay, so that occurs first in the round. Okay, second in the round is the people operating at 3 dexterities. That is Joel. He's the only one left in this combat operating at 3 dexterity. Joel, that gives you and your pokey stick an opportunity to shine. Now, with your pokey stick here, what you're going to use is melee weapon. That's your dexterity plus you're getting medieval to hit.
I was hoping it was strength. Okay.
And I hereby name it William Shakespeare, by the way.
All right. So Dex. So that's that is a 9.
Okay. So that is not enough to poke this combat 12 vampire. So you're, but the problem is that Allie is in a grapple, grabbed by the hair by this particular vampire. So you're trying to make sure you don't impale Allie instead of impaling the vampire. Done. Okay. Over next to the people with the lower dexterities, that's Randy. Randy, you pop open this cabinet. There is, in fact, a crossbow. despite the fact that crossbows don't really work like this, in the Buffy universe they do. It's loaded and strung.
Yeah.
And there are there are staves, there's an axe, there's a sword, there's a mace, there's a morning star. You have two hands. You could take two things. What's the second thing you want?
An axe. I think,
Okay.
finding the person's heart, that's very specific, but an axe, dismember, behead.
Good for hacking.
Yeah.
Yep.
All kinds of uses.
All
The fewer
right, so you
limbs they have, the easier it is to find their heart.
Exactly.
certainly for a sword of sharpness. Okay, so you have axe in one hand. It is double-headed because in the Buffy universe, most axes apparently are, and you have a loaded crossbow in the other. That is your round. Rhiannon, these crazy people are just ignoring you again. Do you want to do something different? I'll give you a single action if you want to use it in some way.
Nope, they're gonna need me later.
Okay, fair enough. Smart. Okay. Round 3. Eric is running through hallways. The rest of you are engaged in this combat. I bet this vampire might try to bite you or some stuff. Allie, just a thought there. Let me look for bite. Okay. You can attempt to break that grapple before she bites you. Okay, so you'd like to reserve a defensive action for that purpose?
Yes, I definitely do that.
Do you want to make it heroic, or are you content with this grapple?
I will go ahead and make it heroic this time. I'll use that heroic that I was going to use last time for this
to get
time.
out of this particular bite. Okay, all right. Joel?
I am going to do a full attack action because my odds of hitting otherwise are extremely low. And I think I'll go ahead and use a heroic feat as well.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so you'll heroic feat, full attack. We're getting all kinds of bonuses. All right, thank you very much. Randy, you have weapons in hand. What would you like to do?
I would like to try to step through the library swinging doors, and if I can, shoot fire for if an opportunity arises where she's not, she's clear.
You will probably need to have to drop the axe in order to accomplish that goal. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
You'll drop it in the hallway.
Drop it in the hallway.
Yeah.
To shoot. And reserve a defensive dodge in case, like, when I come out, she's leaping. She leaps at me or whatever.
Gotcha. All right. So I know what you're doing, Rhiannon, continuing to curse their foolishness. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So I have all of your declared intentions. Initiative is, once again, our good friend the vampire. She will attempt to bite you, but you get this opportunity to break her grapple.
Yes.
That grapple is a 14. You must beat a 14 in order to break that grapple.
So I'm using that heroic action.
Mm-hmm. So plus 10 to your dexterity or strength to break a grapple. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Strength and kung fu. So that's 3 plus 10 is 13.
And then another 5.
So yep, and another 5. Perfect.
Yeah.
So you basically twist your hair around in a way that she loses purchase on it because she went for the hair instead of going for the place that she should have gone. And you'll nimbly move out of the way just as Joel is there with his weapon. So Vampire's burned her action trying to grapple with you. You've burned a defensive action getting out of that grapple. Joel, time for the poking.
All right. So dexterity plus getting medieval is a 5. Plus 2 for the full out attack is a 7. Plus 10 for the heroic action gives me a 17 plus my die roll.
That is correct.
Correct. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I roll.
Does he have additional bonuses because there are multiple people fighting the vampire?
Oh.
Actually, you're quite right, Eric. Technically speaking, Allie is also in combat with the vampire at the moment. So that gives you an additional +1.
Okay, so that gets me up to a 19.
Okay.
Which is 5 successes.
Yeah, it's like you have the book in front of you or something. Okay, so 19 is 5 successes. Here's how damage works, okay, for a weapon. We're going to treat this like a spear, because that's really what it is. And We don't really have spear, so we're going to treat this like a stake because that's really what it is. It is 2 times your strength score. Your strength score for this character is 4, so that's an 8, right? 8 points, and then a this is slash stab damage. Slash stab damage, if you don't have armor, doubles. This vampire does not have armor, so you just did 16 points of damage to this vampire. You missed the heart, but together between you and Allie, you figure you've probably done about half of the damage to this vampire. You'll poke the weapon in. She'll howl at the weapon being poked in. About a foot of it will break off as she thrashes against it. So you went from holding a 5.5 foot long stake to holding a 4.5 foot long stake, and she'll yell, "You almost killed me!"
A hit, a palpable hit with William Shakespeare.
Stacy, you should turn and run. Baby vamps don't last long in Sunnydale.
Yeah.
He's right.
Would you, Joel, like to use a drama point when you say that?
Nah, I don't think so. They never actually turn and run away.
Fair enough. You never know what your director would have done with that drama point. That's not one of the standard uses of one. So he was letting you do a thing, but it's okay. Okay. So you will say that. That is your action. Allie, you've got a punch left this round if you want to use it.
I do want to use it. Let's see. Ooh, I had a thought, but maybe that'll wait. I will attempt to get another punch in on her.
Okay. So again, we're talking about strength plus kung fu plus a d10.
So I do have to roll a 10, but that is okay.
Remember, you get a +1 for Joel also being in combat.
So I can only
you have to roll a 9.
I dropped my die. I don't know where it went. I will roll a different one.
That's probably the difference between success and failure right there.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, so there you go. So close. You're close. And I gotta tell you, you're a scrappy Harmony Kendall. Because you're getting out fisticuff style with this vampire.
Yeah.
Scrappy Harmony Kendall. Okay.
I'm not pretending anymore.
So that's you. Randy, meanwhile, will come crashing through the double doors, see this fight underway, and fire off a crossbow in the direction of this vampire. Now, the way crossbows work is this is a missile attack. Crossbow shot. That's dexterity plus getting medieval. What have you got in that category? Dexterity plus getting medieval.
That's a total of 3.
Okay. This vampire is not going to be able to dodge because she doesn't expect this coming her way. She's focused fully on Joel, who just tried to stab her through the heart, and Allie, who for some reason continues to punch her. And so you're going to get what amounts to a shot in without a dodge. So as long as you roll a 9, you're actually going to hit, or a total of 9, you're actually going to hit with this. So you start with a 3. So all you need is a 6 or better on a D10. You got a 50%
since it's
chance.
a missile shot, do I get the +1 for them being involved or no?
They're in combat. I don't know the answer to that question, so I'm going to be generous and say yes.
Okay,
I'm going to give you
+5 or better.
2 + 2, so you need a 4 or better.
Oh, 4 or better. Okay. 8.
And you hit. So what happens when you hit something with a crossbow? Crossbows have a very specific damage. It is 16/stab. Okay. That means, since this vampire has no armor, it's 32, which, by the way, brings the vampire under -10, which is the point at which we start to make death tests. And because I'm the director and get to do what I want, which is what I really love in life, I'm going to say that you just shot this thing through the heart with a lucky shot from behind, and you will dust that vampire. Now, you've succeeded at getting an explosion of vampire dust all over Joel and Allie, because when vampires dust in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they dust dramatically. So you'll be spitting out a bit of Stacy, the two of you, this round. But I mean, Randy just dealt with a vampire for the two of you. So I mean, thank you is probably in order.
Got through the heart, and I'm to blame, baby. Sorry.
There we go.
All right.
Woo! Cool. Now I need to reload this though. Oh.
It seems as though those madmen and women have succeeded in their fight, Rhiannon.
Yeah, I think are we still in rounds at this point?
No, you're out of
Okay.
rounds.
I think as I'm dusting myself off, I'm going to
Ew!
I'm gonna walk over to where Randy is. And did you drop the axe, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick it up. I'm be like,
all right, in a very badass way.
Yeah,
you pick up that axe.
I'm so done with this place.
You will notice when you go over to pick up the axe that there is a water fountain nearby, just in case you wanted to get that out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that
Okay.
too. Like
Okay.
a moment of badass, like holding the axe, a very Slayer-esque pose, even if not the Slayer. Maybe it's unintentional, maybe I'm doing it on purpose, who knows? But then I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna start drinking from the water fountain.
That's a very Buffy experience. Okay.
Yeah.
So Randy feeling pretty good about himself. This is where you never fire that again, Randy. You just at this point, you one shot, one kill. You're the guy who holds a loaded crossbow and goes, "Do you really want to test me?" That's look, it's all in the reflexes, Jack Burton.
You're batting 1,000. Don't mess it up.
Do you want to reload that thing?
Yeah, I want to go back to the
weapons cabinet. Okay.
Okay, get some bolts. Yeah.
Okay. So Joel, do you want to go in there and loot the weapons cabinet as well?
Absolutely.
All right. And Rhiannon, would you like to join the rest of these madcap adventurers?
No. I'm gonna yell at them. Meet you at the computer lab.
Oh my god! Yes. Okay.
If I don't think my effort is best spent on weapons.
Yeah, they got it. They're fine.
Yeah,
So-
I think
We're
we're fine.
good. Yeah, I
Okay.
agree, Rhiannon.
Okay. So you will head off in that direction. You're, not too long, maybe 30 seconds behind Eric total. So
we
that's
never
not
got
very
the
far at
message.
all, really. I guess we'll find out. Okay.
Oh.
So what was I going to say? So that's where you are. So you're running in that general direction. Eric, you're just retracing your steps from before. It's dark and the campus is deserted. So spooky after dark, but you know where you're going. So that's good, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Any special precautions you want to take as you're
Well, I'm gonna try and be a
sprinting
bit
across
subtle
campus?
about it.
So maybe when you get into the building itself, you'll slow down.
Mhm.
Okay.
'Cause
So
now
that's
I'm on my own and I'm like, oh, I split the party. This was a good idea.
Yeah, there you go. Rhiannon, you'll go crashing out the doors that you just a short while ago heard Eric go crashing out of. Do you want to put on a burst of speed designed to overtake Eric, or do you want to let Eric lead? Okay. So Eric, you'll notice in something that'll make you jump out of your skin for a second before you realize when you look over your shoulder that it's actually Rhiannon sprinting flat out in your direction. That as you're about to reach the doors to the building that classroom is located in, Rhiannon is coming up behind
I
you.
hear rushing feet behind me. I'm like, this is a good idea. Oh, good.
So you two are now together. Do you want to say something before I jump back to the library?
They took care of the vampire.
Well, it was either that or Allie was going to become a vampire. Let's go.
Okay. So headed into the building. Meanwhile, back in the library, this is a weapons cabinet. And if there's anything we've learned from watching Buffy, it's that there's plenty of weapons in it. There's weapons, there's stakes, there's holy water. What do you want exactly?
Definitely holy. I think each of us, if there's enough holy water for
Yeah,
each of us to
definitely
have
grab
one.
some holy
Okay.
water. It's a
And
shame.
crucifixes.
Right.
Mhm.
Multiple crosses, so we can and ideally a crossbow and a non-improvised weapon. So
There
either
is sadly only one crossbow hanging in the weapons cabinet. I've watched enough Buffy to know they don't have more than one in there.
okay, so grab a fistful of bolts then for Randy.
Okay.
Or
It's
pass it on to him.
it's too bad we're like well before the introduction of the really killer weapon, which was Buffy's axe, the scythe.
Yes,
with
that's
Okay,
you're
so
Yeah.
you're 5 seasons out from that.
just a bit.
Just a bit. So hang on, I have a very barky dog that's very barking at this particular moment. We're going to pause here, although we're not pausing in real life. Okay. All right. So we will resume at whatever we were at in time. I don't know how this stuff works, but all of you clever people do. Okay. So back into it. Okay. So you were just grabbing weapons, as we talked about. Would be great if it was season 7, but it's not. So Randy, you've got crossbow. I'm going to say you've got 18 bolts for it. Can you mentally sort of keep a tally of that for me? 18
I will
bolts for
write it
crossbow.
down so that.
Even better. You said you wanted a vial of holy water. Would you like
Yeah.
a crucifix?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was
Okay,
going to grab,
crucifix, vial of holy water.
holy water and crucifixes for Eric and Rhiannon since they're not.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
All right, so you are carrying a total of 3 crucifixes and 3 vials of holy water.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a crossbow. You have 18 bolts for that crossbow. Do you want a melee weapon of some kind or another?
I mean, if there's like a stake or something to like
There are
tuck
stakes.
into my belt, or yeah.
Okay, so melee weapon is stake. Got it. Joel.
Some sort of non-improvised melee weapon and a stake, since there's presumably no other ranged weapons in there. Plus
That
a
is
cross.
correct. Okay, so stake, cross, holy water, the great 3. Non-improvised melee weapons include longsword, daggers aplenty, more than one bow staff, quarterstaff, morning star mace.
Let's go with the mace.
Okay, mace, and you have no ranged weapon because there's only one. Okay, moving on to Allie. You already had an axe.
Yes. I think I will grab, like, I definitely noted the holy water. I want to grab like a stake or 2 as well, just to
right.
make sure I'm
2
loaded
stakes?
up and ready.
2 stakes, axe, holy water.
Yes.
Crucifix or yes or no?
Yeah, I'll grab a crucifix as well.
All right, crucifix. Rhiannon, last but not least.
She did not come to the weapons locker.
Yeah, she's in the
terribly sorry.
toward
That's
the
right.
new lab.
I completely forgot. Okay, so it was all the dog barking that just totally threw me.
We're
Right,
like, I hope
so-
they grab weapons for us. I hope they grab that sword for me.
I will grab the sword for Eric. I will think about Eric and grab the sword for him.
I will
fine.
think about Eric and grab the sword for him. All right, so tucking a sword into your bag of doom as well, you will set off. You're a few minutes behind. You collectively are a few minutes behind Eric and Rhiannon at this point. Okay, Eric, Rhiannon, you're moving through darkly lit hallways because this is school after dark.
A little bit cautiously. Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Are we moving with a degree of caution, or
I
are
think we
okay.
should. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. In a deliberate attempt not to be heard if there's someone nearby?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you will make it to that main hallway / open room that you came down and met the janitor in the previous episode. You'll make it up that set of stairs to the 2nd floor. You're approaching the corridor, which should have Miss Calendar's room off of it. Is it your intention to creep up in that general direction?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You will do exactly that. Is someone in the lead, or are you moving side by side?
Eric.
I'm in the lead.
ever the pragmatist. Okay. Eric, you are in the lead. You can see that the classroom door is open. Most of these classroom doors are closed. This classroom door is open. And you can hear, you know, some little noise from coming inside, from inside there. It's hard to make out exactly what that noise is, and see a little source of light. It looks like someone doesn't have the lights on in there, but there's some little source of light coming
Like
from
someone's
that.
using a computer in there.
Quite possibly that might be a CRT. And so are you looking to just roll around the turn or creep up and peek around the turn?
Creep up and peek around the turn.
All right. So I assume you'll do the same thing, flattening out against the wall, Rhiannon.
We want to stack our heads as we look around the corner.
I think Rhiannon's giving you, using you as much more of a meat shield than that.
Yeah. No, that's reasonable.
Okay. So you alone will peek your head around the turn, and you will see that there's nobody in there at this particular moment, but there's a computer on the desk. The monitor is running on that computer.
Which desk?
Looks like the operating
Teacher's
system.
desk? One of the students' desk? Okay.
Teacher's desk. Looks like the operating system background, you know, Windows 3.11 or whatever it is.
So it's like the pipes moving around? No.
Yeah. Is up in the background of the screen. There's a bunch of icons on the desktop. Something could be minimized, but you know, right now you're just looking at the background of the screen.
But it has not gone to screensaver, which means that someone was right here.
Yeah, it has not gone to screensaver, and there's stuff on the desktop. There's a little box. There's a bunch of what looks like herbs and things, just sort of like, you know, in an open little bag on the desktop. There's just a bunch of sort of junk there. Huh. Yeah, someone was probably in here not too long ago.
Okay.
My turn.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to investigate the computer and the spell components, see if I can figure out what was being done with them.
Okay, so Rhiannon will go by Eric into the room and start looking. Is that a fair statement? Okay. Eric, what are you doing?
Since we're no longer hiding ourselves, right? I think.
Let me ask you a question about that, Eric. Are you no longer hiding yourself from something in the room and something potentially coming down the hallway, or are you no longer hiding yourself?
I'm pretty sure we're not hiding ourselves from anything in the room. Like if we go across the room and start investigating, then whatever's in there is going to see us and probably already knows we're there.
Yes, that's reasonable, given that, particularly because Rhiannon is pushed into the room.
Right. So I'm going to step into the room and I'm going to say, Miss Calendar?
Loud enough for something in the room to hear, or loud enough for something in the entire hallway to hear?
No, softly enough that someone in the room can hear. And it's obvious that I'm like urgently whispering.
Gotcha. Miss Calendar. Okay. All right.
And
so
then,
you'll whisper that.
I'm going to just close the door.
All the way?
Like 3/4 of the way. So I'm still looking out into the hallway. So if something comes rushing up, I want to know about it.
All right. So you will call out for Miss Calendar. Looking across the room, it's pretty obvious that there's no one in here.
In an urgent whisper, such as vampires don't do.
Yes. And there's no Miss Calendar responding to you in the room. So you can't see her, you can't hear her, she didn't hear you, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
You'll close the door most of the way. You, meanwhile, Rhiannon, have gone over to the computer and are trying to deduce what's going on with this stuff. If you could roll a 10-sided die for me.
8.
8?
Pardon?
Oh, I thought you said 8. Terribly sorry.
No, 7.
Okay, 7 is pretty good nevertheless. You've added intelligence and some other stuff to that. Okay, there is a minimized program running on this screen. So in other words, bottom of the screen, you'd have to click it to make it big. And then there's just the background of the screen itself. And the stuff on the desk, there's this box. It's a small wooden box, maybe 5 inches by 5 inches or 6 inches by 6 inches hinged. And there's a bunch of other sort of like things on the desk. The DM is going into a book. They include some animal bones, what looks like sage tied up, some candles. This looks like someone was thinking about at some point in time casting some sort of a spell.
Yeah.
A shattered orb of Thespila or whatever.
Best case scenario, there's a willow hiding here somewhere. That's our best case scenario.
Do you want to make the tiny window a bigger window, or you're not interested in what's running there?
No, I'm interested. I'm interested. in all
Okay.
this.
Like I'm interested. All right, so you will take that window and minimize that window. There appears to be some sort of translation program running. It's two sides of a screen. One sort of squiggles in a language you do not understand, and the other side of a screen which is starting to translate that language into English. It's clearly not done. Looks like it needs a few more minutes.
Oh, we
I
are
mean-
Eric?
cutting this down to the wire.
Yes, what were you going to say, Rhiannon?
I want to find out what it says. So
Okay, excellent. Got it. So you'll wait and see how that develops.
mhm.
Eric, could you
Yeah.
roll a 10-sided die for me?
Okay, here we go. That's a 7.
All right. You can hear something coming from the hallway. First, you'll hear the sound of what sounds like someone whistling a tune in the hall. Someone's whistling a tune in the hallway, and then you'll hear footsteps coming this way. What are they whistling? Someone's whistling "Strangers in the Night." the hallway.
No. I am gonna just shut the door.
All right.
And then
so,
I'm gonna drag one of those desks over in front of the door, like Rhiannon demonstrated earlier, because she had the right idea.
All right. So, Rhiannon, you will see Eric panic. He may even say something like, oh no. And
No, that's not good.
yeah, and he'll start to gently close the door. You'll hear it click, clack. You want to do something while he's doing that?
I mean, I gotta wait on my translation anyway.
Yeah.
Windows, do they open? How wide?
All right. So you're gonna go crash over to the row of windows
No.
and see what the
No,
story
I'm
is.
gonna carefully.
Tiptoe
Carefully
over to the
move
row
over
of
there.
windows. Okay, got it. All right. So you will deftly and tiptoe over to the row of windows and try to figure out how they open. Okay,
Yeah.
Eric, you meanwhile, there's a desk. Oh man, that's gonna be a lot of noise if I drag that thing across the floor. Have you ever dragged one of those old-fashioned sleigh desks with the the metal?
This is
things
immediately what I was thinking. If this were on the show, I'd go like quietly close the door and then and I'm like, okay, I with the vigorous strength of this 17-year-old tall person am going
That's a
to
3,
try.
by the way. That's
Yeah.
a 3. Your strength.
It's
Yeah.
a 3.
Which
It's
is
okay.
above
It's pretty
average.
good. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
The mighty
know?
strength of a 17-year-old goth boy.
There you go.
17-year-old goth boy under duress. I am
Yeah.
going to try and kind of like wedge the desk over. Not lift it necessarily, but like put it up on one leg and then
You're
like
gonna
that.
baby walk this this desk over in that direction.
Well, I mean, if I can lift it, I will, but I probably can't. So you want me to roll a
I
die
want you
to
to
see
roll
how I do?
a die to see if you can lift it. Let's find out how you do.
All right.
Can he use the
So
strength of his contempt? Because as a goth boy.
He can use a heroic point if he really wants to. He believes in nothing, Randy. Nothing.
Okay. If I use a heroic point, right,
Mhm.
then I'm going to
Mhm.
get 13 plus whatever I roll, unless there's a skill that goes into this.
There might be a skill. Let's say that the most you'll have in it is a 1 or a 2. So you'd probably be doing like 5
It'd
plus.
probably
probably
be like
sports.
sports, but I don't have anything in sports because someone
don't.
decided that Eugene Bryan, who goes by Lord Byron Eugene, does not participate in sports, which I think is reasonable.
Not his thing. Not his thing.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna try and baby walk this thing over. I'm not gonna use a heroic point yet. I might need it.
All right. So please roll a d10.
I rolled an 8.
Okay. This is, as I typically describe them, a good news, bad news situation.
Okay.
The good news is that you are succeeding in trying to baby walk this desk over in that general direction. The bad news is that when the door closed, whoever was whistling Strangers in the Night coming down the hallway must have decided that it was time to speed up and make sure that that door didn't stay closed for long. So you're turning the desk in the direction of the door, maybe about 4 feet away from it, when it is kicked open. Okay. The desk or the door flies open, and you just manage to avoid getting clocked by it with the desk as you're moving in that direction because you hadn't yet reached inside the arc of the swinging door. And now you're looking at a man. This man's pretty tall. He's got kind of dark, sort of spiky hair. He's a pretty handsome fellow. He's wearing a long black jacket. Looks like it's not silk, but some kind of nice fabric, and a black silk shirt, sort of kind of open a little bit at the chest, hairless chest. He is unshaven, and like black leather pants. Fashionable fellow. Are you familiar with David Boreanaz at all, Eric?
Well, I know that he's handsome enough to be picked up off the street and cast in Buffy.
Well, then you know that this is in fact who you're looking at. His face isn't vamped out, but you're pretty sure that that's not Angel that you're looking at in the doorway. That's Angelus. He has a big old smile on his face, and he's about to say a thing. But before he does, Rhiannon's at the windows. So Rhiannon, you're over at these windows.
Yep.
These are the classic, you know how they have that sideways turning handle that turns them? And high school students are trouble. So they've built these windows in a way that you need to break through them in order to be able to actually get out one of these windows, because we don't want high school students opening windows and throwing things down from the second floor into the quad. Okay. So you'll be figuring that out as the door comes slamming wide open, right? You'll look over in that direction. That's bad. That just cannot be good. So Angelus will say, as he kicks the door wide open with a sort of happy little giggle, "What's this? You aren't the usual late night library crowd. You're all dressed up for a fight, but it's like children playing toy soldiers. I didn't come here for you, but don't worry. I'm always up for a little game of cat and mouse." And he will vamp out. So now you're looking at Vampire Angelus. Meanwhile, back downstairs, our noble heroes are weaponed up and moving across the quad. Are we running, jogging, walking casually?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'd say probably jogging at least, just not moving so quickly that we can't see what's ahead of us, but stepping it out would be my thought.
I'm honestly of a mind to, like, once we had the weapons and everything, I'm kicking off the heels, the fashionable heels, and I am
run.
Yeah, I am booking it back toward
Well, if Ellie takes off, then I will try to keep up.
All right, and Randy, are we joining the jog?
Yeah.
Really
Sounds
more
like
a sprint,
actually.
sprint at this point.
there you go. Okay. So you will be crashing through doors, running pell-mell across the open quad, and headed out for that building. Because this is a dramatic game, you will arrive through the front doors of the building and into that lobby that leads to the stairs on the second floor when you hear a boom coming from upstairs. It sounds like somebody either just dropped a heavy object or kicked open a door to something. Oh my. That sounds urgent. Up on floor number 2. So now we will go to the beginning of what could very well be a combat round, so we're going to treat it like one. Eric? So you're looking down the barrel of an amused Angelus, which is never a good thing to be looking down the barrel of. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Wow, it's really you. I didn't think he'd go this far, but
That's
he
what you'll say.
did. That's what I say.
Okay. Were you expecting someone else, boy? He'll say in response to you. It
Oh
looks
no,
like
this is amazing.
it looks to you, Rhiannon, like the boys are being all sassy with each other. Do you want to take that opportunity to do anything?
Yes.
What?
Plot twist. The translation is done. It includes casting directions.
Ah,
Very
Remind
crafty.
me how it's, so that's 1 drama point, but I can only use it once per session. Is that
That is correct. That is 1
Okay.
drama point, but you can only use it once per session. Okay.
is what
So
I'm gonna do.
nice use of a plot twist in the unisystem. I just
Nice,
want to go.
nice.
I just want to go out there and
well
say,
done.
well done. And so you'll hear a ding go off on the computer screen. That probably indicates that something has reached the conclusion of its whatever. And you'll remember in your head that when you were looking at the items on the desk, that there was a piece of paper underneath them that looked like almost like a recipe, but was probably directions about what you were supposed to do with those.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's you. The boys are busy being boys, and so they didn't notice that ding, or at least if Eric noticed it, Angelus didn't. And who
We're
knows
busy
whether he
being
knows what that
boys
means
in a
anyway.
Whedonverse show,
You are.
which means we are snarking the heck at each other.
You are most assuredly snarking the heck out of each other.
To be fair,
So I
that's
think
everyone in a Whedonverse show.
It
But
is.
I
It
think
is.
I think you left off with something along the lines of "That's amazing" or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
I
you
said
have-
I didn't think he'd go this far, but he did.
But he
Right.
did. Yeah. And but you also said, were you expecting it to be someone else? He said something like, "Were you
And
expecting
I
it
said,
to be someone
no,
else?"
this
boy?
is amazing.
This is amazing. Oh, you have no idea just how amazing this is going to be. He'll say as he enters the room. Okay, so Eric, here's the thing. You know, because you're probably aware of what a computer making a noise means in a way that Angelus probably isn't.
Because he's from several hundred years ago.
Because
Yeah.
he's from we know he's 243 years older than Buffy. So
Right.
and she's
Age gap.
17 at this point. Yeah.
Age gap.
So that
Weird.
makes him
Anyway.
pretty old. Yeah.
Mhm.
So in any event, you know that probably means that whatever Rhiannon was doing over there just yielded some positive results. And you know that he probably knows. I mean, come on, he's an experienced vampire. He's probably aware that Rhiannon is at the back of the room near the windows. But right now, Rhiannon is not doing anything that is vaguely like a threat. And he can only torture one of you to death at once. So you seem to be the one that you're enticing him to do that to you first.
Well, I know two
But-
things about Angelus that I can potentially interact with. One, he's a snarky son of a bitch. And two, he loves to psychologically torture people.
Oh, he does. It's so very true. But also, in addition to knowing those things, spellcasting in the Buffyverse is a complicated business. And if Rhiannon attempts anything out in the open in front of Angelus, there's no way that he's not going to attempt to stop her. So the only way she's going to actually begin to commence that process is if you figure out a way to get him out of this room. So that's just something to think about. He's rolling through the doors.
I got an idea to keep stalling.
Okay.
I also
What do
have
you
an
wanna do?
idea,
'Cause we're not-
but I'll wait.
I also
Likewise.
have an idea.
We all have ideas.
You're not in combat yet, so go ahead and you throw me your idea.
I'm going to say, how's Darla?
Okay, that's
Has
not
she
a
been
bad idea.
resurrected yet?
Not a bad idea. All right, and Allie, what's your idea down on the first floor?
Well, I'm gonna be barreling up the stairs the moment I heard the crash. First off,
Yes. got it.
as soon as I got near, because like I think we have a general idea of what's probably happening up there. Not like the specifics, obviously, but like given the day we're on, the timing, like that is most likely Angelus. That's where my mind's going.
Basic math can be done here. Yeah. Yeah.
So my plan was to head up, and as I'm as I'm headed for the room, I'm not going to go all the way there, but I'm going to shout, "Hey, Angelus!" very loudly to try to get to try to
In Harmony Kendall's voice.
in Harmony Kendall's voice, yes, which is going to confuse the ever living hell out of him because I have something I want to say as a means of distraction, but I'm going to wait and leave that to see if this works first.
All right. So that's what you're up to, Allie.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say, Randy and Joel, that you are pounding up those stairs after Allie?
Yes, I would actually like to yell, "Angelus, we saw the witch. She's in the parking lot."
Okay. In nameless NPC's voice.
Yes, we.
Okay.
My goal is to convince him that Drusilla sent us to back him up, and that we're vamps
Interesting.
ourselves. So the cross is tucked into the belt.
Okay, hidden.
Yes,
I
yes,
have no
Randy?
such designs.
Okay, yeah, we're totally at cross purposes here, and that's
Yes.
fine. That's
Yeah.
that's
Classic.
pretty typical for us.
Classic Dungeon
group.
Scrawlers move, as I like to
Oh
say.
yeah.
Okay.
So confusion. Yeah.
Scattering
Classic.
cats. Yes.
Classic.
So Randy, what have you got for me?
Those, yeah, I was gonna do something with Darla too, but I think that I could say loud enough that for these people to hear, but not like shouting, but knowing that Angelus has, vampire hearing. So, like, I will say, remember, we just need to keep him away from Buffy in the gym as long as possible. Hold him here. Distract him.
It's literally 4 different plans going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we've all given him good reasons to
I
leave.
mean, one of us is going to roll well. Yeah.
I suppose that's true.
And they're not conflicting
Not
reasons. They're just
necessarily.
giving-
No, this is absolutely untrue. But
Oh boy.
All right. So let's just go upstairs to the upstairs people here for ease of moving along. And I'm going to cut some corners here because I'm trying to finish this game tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm going to cut some corners here. Okay.
Mhm.
So Eric, you said, how's Darla? She get resurrected yet? Is what you said. You'll notice like a look of confusion and then anger go across his face.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I was going to kill you, but now I'm really going to enjoy it, he'll say. And he will attempt to grapple with you. So we're going to go into combat now. Okay. He will then hear these people screaming things from behind him. You'll all hear the things that these people are screaming from behind him. And he'll cast a look over his shoulder, which will give him a -2 to that grapple. Okay.
Okay.
So now we're in a combat round.
Okay.
It is again intentions, initiative, and actions. What do you want to do this round, Eric?
I am going to, while he's distracted,
Mhm.
pick up a CRTV monitor and just put it into his head.
Donk. Okay, got it.
Well, I'm
Would
gonna
you-
specifically gonna hit him with the screen so that his head goes into the thing.
Gotcha. Would you like to attempt to use a heroic action?
Yes.
Okay. So you will burn a heroic action or a drama point, use a heroic action, attempt to attack him with the CRT screen. Got it. Okay. Do you want to reserve an action to dodge in case he tries to grab
Yeah.
you?
When I use the drama point, does it apply to all of my rolls or just one?
Just the one. For
Just the
heroic
one.
action, you must
Okay. The
select
heroic
a
action
roll.
is still gonna be the CR screen.
Okay. Because you'd rather hit than not be grabbed. Got it. Check.
Look, if we've demonstrated that I'm good at anything on the isekai realms, it's getting murdered by vampires way more powerful than me.
That is true. That is true. Okay. So we've demonstrated you're good at something else too, but we'll leave it alone in this episode. Okay. So Rhiannon, while the brawling is occurring, do you want to attempt to make your way around the thing and see what you can see from the stuff that you're looking at? Okay. All right.
Well, but I'm casting the spell, so
Well, you're going to try to start it. That's the
Okay.
plan.
yes.
Remember, casting spells is a complicated matter. in Buffy
Yeah,
the
but
Vampire
I
Slayer.
thought you were saying like leave it behind and go watch them. I want
No,
to
no,
go to
no,
the-
no,
Okay,
no.
yeah.
It's impossible to avoid watching them because there they are, and they're being so dramatic. But you're focused on trying to figure out how this spell works. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Allie, Joel, and
Yes.
Randy, you yelled your things. You are running pell-mell up in that direction. You'll be doing that for a while. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And we come over to the initiative for the round. Initiative goes to Angelus,
Oh, wow.
unsurprisingly.
What a surprise.
He has a dex better than 3. And the first thing he's going to do is an attempt to grapple you. His grapple is at 22, Eric.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can dodge, right?
No.
Okay. So you have your hands on the CRT screen. I'll give you that, right? And so when he grabs you, you'll grab it, and it'll come tearing out of its thing. Like, you detach the cord along with it as you go. And he will. So grapple action is his first combat action. He gets more than one. His second combat action is to hurl you into the hallway bodily. His combat action there is a 20. Do you want to attempt to stop him?
I mean, I can't. So.
Okay, but you could use the dodge to attempt to not be thrown bodily.
Yeah, but I can't roll. I can't roll a 15 on a D10
because you can't roll 15 on a D10. You mean literally? Even if you roll, you still can't do it.
I mean that it's impossible.
Why bother?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're going to roll a D10 and add your dexterity, and you're trying to get better than a 9 to this, just to hold on to the CRT screen as you go crashing into a row of lockers across the hall.
I got a 7.
Okay, so you'll drop the CRT screen. It won't break, blessedly. It's actually on the plastic side as opposed to being on the glass side. And you'll go crashing into the row of lockers. You'll take 3 points of damage from that row of lockers, which is about, a little under half or a third of his strength, because he was throwing you more for fun than because he was trying to actually kill you. As you pointed out, he enjoys torturing people.
Good. Yeah, this is what I wanted.
And he follows you out into the hallway because Rhiannon, what kind of a threat are you really? You're looking at the desktop. Okay, so there's a string of words in English. My God, this is kind of long. And you're looking down at the thing, and there's, you got to light candles. Yeah. So do you want to begin trying to set this up?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to clear off the desk and try to set it up on the desk?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what this round, you'll absorb the information and sweep everything off the desk with the exception of the stuff you need to try to set this thing up. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's you.
They can hold off Angelus for a while, but they're not going to be able to dust him. So.
Yes, that seems highly unlikely. Yes. Okay. So meanwhile, you will all come running up that second flight of stairs and arrive at the hallway. You're going to turn a corner and then you're going to see whatever the heck's going on in that hallway in the next round. Okay, that's the 3 of you. We'll start with the 3 of you. Any additional commentary for our friend Angelus before you come running around the turn? Okay.
Well, is it before we come around or is it as we're?
It's either. You can do it either way.
Okay, definitely timing wise. As soon as I see him, I'm going to shout out to him again. And because Eric there. I don't want to.
Save the shouting for when we get to that point in the initiative.
All right, I'm going to shout stuff at him. So.
Check and move.
All
right, Joel, Randy, additional things to say, or are we good with just closing on the bad guy?
Coming around, yeah, just closing for now.
Okay, fair enough. You will come when your turn comes. You'll come barreling around the turn. Eric.
Yeah.
You're locked in a fight with a vampire quite above your weight class. What would you like to do?
Is he close enough for me to still hit him?
You can try and scoop up that CRT screen and smack him with it if that's your plan. Is that your plan?
No, it's not going to succeed. He's just going to thwart my action again. Let's see. No, I'm going to keep antagonizing him and goading him and so that he pays no attention to Rhiannon.
Okay, I know you're very good at that, so we'll give you a chance to do that in just a second. Rhiannon, I know what you're up to, and you'll be up to it for a little while. Okay.
Oh, so, and I will reserve a defensive action to try not to die.
All right. Do you want to attempt to use a heroic action to?
Oh yeah, obviously, yes.
Can he taunt and do full defense in the same round?
Yeah, absolutely. Taunting is free.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. So we did intentions. We're around to initiative. Angelus is going to go first. You could taunt him at this point as he's reaching out a hand to grab you by the throat, Eric.
Okay.
Taunt away.
Because she gets resurrected in the later season by Wolfram and Hart. Oh, wait, spoilers.
And he'll say back to you, I don't know who you are, boy, but I mean to open you up and find out. And he will go grabbing out in your direction. As he is about to lay hands on Eric, all of you will come crashing around the turn to the hallway. You're about a good 100 feet away from Eric. You can see Eric yelling things, backed up against a locker. You can see Angelus reaching out with a hand towards Eric's throat, having threatened to open him up. What would you like to say, Allie?
I'll shout out, Angelus again, and then I'll add that, you know what makes Spike a better man than you? The fact that he has the capacity to do good even without a soul.
So you get to roll for that because it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're rolling, you're adding your influence score and your what is it? It's not charisma in this system, but it is somewhere here. I have your character sheets.
Willpower?
Under the spell. But it is personality. So it's personality 3, influence, which in your case is
A 3. It's going by my sheet.
3, so 6, plus D10.
Okay.
Charisma characters
Hello.
to the end.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Okay, so that is a 8 total or an 8. Okay,
Yeah, an 8
so
on the
8
die.
total.
8 on the die.
So 8 on the die. 8 on the
Yeah.
die is much better.
Yes.
So 8 and 6 is 14.
Yes.
That's going to get you into success category.
Okay, cool.
He will look in your direction because you just yelled that as he came around the turn and say, "Wheels hardly," and pause in attacking you, Eric. Okay.
Which is what I wanted.
That pretty much what you wanted. You guys are trying to gain distance. Randy, Joel, Allie.
Yeah, trying to get closer.
So, Allie, do you want to let Randy and Joel get there first?
I mean, I'm not stopping moving, but if they want to get there before me, that's fine.
It's more like I'm asking if you'd like to take advantage of the fact that they're willing to meet shield for you if you're just going to take a little step back.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to.
All right, so it's three abreast.
Yeah, I'm facing it head on. I don't care at this point.
I mean,
So it's three. Go ahead.
My intention is, especially if Allie's attempting to draw Angelus's focus on herself, is to reach Eric with his holy water and crucifix and
the sword.
So you're headed for Eric as opposed to headed for Angelus. Joel, you're headed for.
If we are, I think I am headed for the. If possible, I'm going to head for the doorway for the computer lab, and my plan is out the window now. So I'm going to have the mace in one hand and the cross in the other, and I'm going to try to meet Shield in the doorway to keep him from getting back into the lab.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's where you're headed. Allie, you're headed where?
I am mostly. I'm still moving toward them. I am basically heading for Angelus to keep his attention on me.
Okay, so Angelus, doorway, Eric is where the three of you are all headed. So you're all headed to a different location. You have weapons out, yes? Like nobody's hiding those weapons.
I have the axe. I am.
We're not hiding those.
Yeah. No. And Eric, you were prepared to defend yourself against Angelus this round. That was really what you were focused on. So Allie interrupted Angelus's attack on you. Okay. Angelus, turning in the direction of Allie to see Allie coming, will see all three of them coming, pell-mell armed with weapons, headed in this general direction, and will say, as he pulls a sword out of his coat, he's got a big long coat on. I guess he was hiding a sword under there. I see Giles gave you some of his toys. He's now facing them, talking to them, Eric. You aren't the only ones with weapons. but I'm the only one who looks like he knows how to use one. And you are now facing a sword-armed Angelus as you guys are arriving at your particular locations. Eric, he's not ignoring you, but he didn't take an action against you because you're unarmed.
Oh, I'm not
Allie?
trying to make myself look like I'm dangerous or anything. I'm lying there like,
Allie, you're going to come sort of crashing up to the combat range with Angelus.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your round. Do you have a weapon in hand?
Yes, I have the that double-headed axe.
All right, you and the double-headed axe versus Angelus and the sword. Randy.
I will say one thing before when he says it looks like I'm the only one who knows how to use it. I'll just say,
Yep.
Try me, pretty boy.
Well, I mean, you are Harmony Kendall, so I think that came out pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Randy, you'll go crashing up to Eric and hand him the sword.
And sword, crucifix, holy water.
All right. So, is that just like I've got a handful of stuff. I'm handing that handful of stuff to Eric.
Yeah.
Okay. Joel,
Mhm.
you are headed into the room. You'll come right into the doorway of the room. You'll look in. You'll see Rhiannon is trying to piece together what looks like some sort of a spell.
Okay, all right, so Angel is outside the room in the hallway, though, right?
Correct. Not far away from the room. Probably
Okay.
would be better to get him further away from the room, but is outside the room in the hallway.
All right. In that case, let's see how well the cross works.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet, huh?
Just brandish it and try to back him down the hallway away from everybody else.
Okay, so you'll produce the cross and you'll go into that. All right, so now we're into the new round of actions. Intentions, I know what you're all doing. Well, I know what you're doing, Joel. Randy, I know what you did last round. What are you doing this round?
This round, I'm going to try and go to Rhiannon. I have an occult of 3, so I think, and not a kung fu of 1. So I think that if maybe and from what I remember, like Willow had Oz reading an incantation while she did other things. So it seemed like that helped speed things out, or so anyway, just in case, I'm gonna go. I feel like I can potentially help things out better there.
All right, so you will abandon the fight and dodge into the room. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
Rhiannon,
I have things to help defend her with a cross and holy water and stuff, just in case.
Rhiannon, I
line
know
of
what you're
defense.
doing. Eric.
plot twist.
So that's now 3 people who've used their plot twists. To be
The
clear.
locker that Angelus threw me up against
Yep.
belongs to one Jonathan Levinson.
I
And this
love
is the
Jonathan.
season. This is the season before he launches his attack on the school. And so he doesn't have the full plan in place, but he did leave a pipe bomb in his locker.
Nice
pipe bomb
callback
in his locker.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to point out something for you that you probably don't remember from Buffy, but it's relevant for our circumstances. Jonathan was actually not going to attempt to harm anybody at the school other than himself. He was going to shoot himself up in that clock tower.
So he had a high-powered rifle?
So he has a high-powered rifle in his locker.
I'm not saying he was going to actually hurt anybody. I'm saying he was a misguided, mixed up person, and he was going through various plans. Anyway, that's what the plot twist is.
I'm going to allow your plot twist, but it's not Jonathan Levinson's locker.
That's fine.
It's the locker of some other malcontent. Say somebody who was thinking about unleashing hellhounds against the senior prom.
Great.
Okay.
I was just doing a canonical callback. That's all.
We appreciate that. We really do. Okay. So that's what you're doing this round. Okay. So, Allie, finally, you've got an axe. He's got a sword.
I do have an axe, and he does have a sword. I am going to, and this will dip me below, or I can spend it to just not die. But I'm gonna do it. Go for broke. I'm gonna use a heroic action, and I'm going to try to hit him with the axe.
Attack.
Yep.
Would you like to use your other action as a parry with the axe?
Yes.
If he attacks you with the sword.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So coming into this round, beginning of this round, I got your actions, initiatives. Unsurprisingly, Angel goes first. You're standing there with an axe. Eric got handed weapons, but is pretty much playing with a locker at this particular moment. Randy is backing away from the fight. Joel has not yet deployed the what's the word I'm looking for? The
Cross.
Well,
cross.
I'm
Again.
arming myself. That's my intention.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you're the obvious target, Allie, for this attack. So because I like playing with people, I'm not trying to kill you here. I am trying to batter you around with the flat of the blade of this particular weapon. That's a 21. So I'm going to smack you with the blade of this weapon as a 21. You can't parry better than that, can you?
No.
Okay. So what you'll do is you'll get smacked flat with the blade of this weapon. That doesn't do the doubled damage that a sword does, but it will in this case do 14 points of damage to you.
Ow. Okay.
And it will spin you into a locker standing nearby. And
Okay.
Angelus will say, "Are you sure you want to use that thing on me, pretty girl?" And that then brings us to next in the dexterity orders. Next in the dexterity order is Eric arming himself and Joel attempting to use a cross. So Joel, do you want to present it and move in the direction of Angelus?
Yes. And if he doesn't back up, I guess I end up pressing it to him since I know that makes it worse.
Since I know that makes it worse. All right. So you will produce the cross and move it in the direction of Angelus. You'll
Right.
get into his frame of vision as he's sort of turned in the direction of Allie.
Right.
You'll move to get into his frame of vision.
I can speak.
Without getting far enough around that would back him into the room. So
Gotcha. You're trying to push him further down the hallway.
Down the
Understood.
hallway, yes.
Okay. Please roll a 10-sided die for me.
Yeah, I can speak from experience. It's really painful when it touches your skin.
That's a 5.
Very much so. All right. That is enough to get his attention with that cross, and you'll see he'll shirk back as he catches sight of it and take a stumbling step backward, swinging around his blade to bring it up defensively. Well, that's not fair, he'll say. Do you have a rejoinder for that?
Nope. Not
I like it. I'm not that guy. That's not my job.
No, not just...
Okay. Eric, do you have something you want to add to that?
Super
You're
strength
that guy.
isn't fair
That is your
either.
job. Okay. All right. So he'll say, because
I
I
don't really want to attract his attention, but I'll mutter like, I don't think super strength is fair either.
All right, because he's a vampire and can hear these things, and because I have a handy retort as a DM that I just have to use, he will say, "Well, we all have our crosses to bear."
Oh,
Okay.
even if
so-
the ritual works, let's kill this guy. I'm just saying.
We're now out of
I mean,
combat round.
That's canon.
Right?
You are pushing him down the hallway. Okay, so that's the plan: is get him down the hallway.
Yeah.
Now, I want to point something out. If you plunge into attack instead of using the cross to try to get him to go down the hallway, there's some chance that you might disrupt whatever the cross has got going on. It's like turning in Dungeons and Dragons, right? You can't attack the undead that you're turning. You have to let them do their business, unless you're going to drop a spell on them from a distance or something like that and wipe them all out. So you sort of have to decide, are the three of you that are squaring up against him for combat purposes going to try and get him, say, maybe around that turn to get him in that direction? Or are you going to get him just far enough away from the door to begin attacking him again? What's the plan?
Well, we can't really stand up to him 1-on-1 or 3-on-1, but yeah, at that point, I think getting him, just continuing to hold him in place or move him is the better option. So, like, to that effect, I will, I'll lower the axe. I'm not dropping it, but I'll lower it, and with the offhand, I'll pull out a cross, and I'll say, "Yeah, well, fair doesn't get you the win."
Excellent. So we've doubled our crosses now.
Yeah.
Eric?
I'm gonna rejoin the battle. I am
Which
in the
means-
battle, right?
You are in the battle. The question is, do you want to fight or do you want to produce a cross and try to move him down that hallway?
I will produce the cross that Randy gave me.
Have you
And I
got a
will
witty
help.
line to go with that, or you're good with just doing the Joel thing and pushing him down the hallway with it?
Actually, what I would like to use my non-witty statement for the round to say, Eric, watch the other way down the hallway.
You know, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that.
So it's 2 crosses moving vampire down hallway.
You know,
One person watching other way.
I
This
don't
cross will
need
make you-
faith that these work. I know these work because that's how it's written.
Okay. All right. So that's what you're up to. Randy, you are now in the room with Rhiannon. Rhiannon is reading the set of directions about what you do to set this whole ritual up. Apparently, Rhiannon, at the center of all of this is the orb of Thessala. It needs to sit on a purple silk cushion. Okay, yes, there's the purple silk. You sort of bunch that up. You put the orb of Thessala in the center of that, and then you set 4 candles at the cardinal points around that. So you're beginning to set that up. Randy, Rhiannon's clearly doing a thing.
So I'm going to cross to her as I do. I'm going to be soaking the loaded crossbow bolt in holy water. And then when I reach her, I'll be like, anything I can do to help, let me know.
Okay.
And I'll
Okay.
turn to face the door. So I'm ready to, if something comes through the door, shoot it.
Okay. So the answer to the question, Rhiannon, is there anything I can do to help? Is hell yes. There's lots of things that this stupid ritual requires. One of them includes drawing a sacred circle about 2 feet in diameter with dirt taken from a fresh grave. That's clearly what's in this little bag.
Okay.
If while you're setting up the candles, Randy wanted to do that, that would certainly help move things along. But it would mean that Randy wouldn't be guarding the door because
Lots
you
of
can't
fresh grapes in
circle.
Sunnydale.
You can't sprinkle that dirt while holding a crossbow bow on a door.
Right. That's
Uh,
okay.
Did you see the others? Did they seem like
They're
they were-
distracting. You're distracting who. I think, but I don't know how long. So the faster we get this done, the better.
okay? Well,
I'll
do the dirt
So
then.
I'll do. I mean, I'll still hold the crossbow bolt, but I'll sprinkle the dirt in a circle.
I'll let you, for the purposes of coolness, have a sling on that crossbow bolt if you want to just sling it and then use both hands to start making that dirt circle.
Okay.
Don't shoot
All
your
right.
foot.
You can tell we're still alive because we're still loudly snarking.
Yes, when they stop snarking, that's when you need to worry about them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're moving Angelus down the hallway. You're setting up for the ritual. Eric, you're watching back in the direction of, is somebody else coming? Yes?
Yeah, I'm kind of guarding the door from out in the hallway.
Okay, so they're moving Angelus down the hallway.
Right.
You're guarding the door from this location.
More
Okay.
or less.
Please roll a 10-sided die for me.
I rolled a 2.
All right.
Mm.
Fortuitously, the person who is creeping down this hallway is not terribly good at being stealthy. And so you'll spot them as they get within about 30 feet. They were sort of trying to move from shadow to shadow, stealthily coming down this hallway. It's Jenny Calendar.
Okay.
What do you want to do or say? I don't know that she knows that you've seen her yet.
Does she have a vampire face?
She does not.
I will wave the cross at her and then gesture to
To
come into the
both
room.
get her attention and test to determine whether she is undead.
Yeah.
There you
Like,
go.
hey.
Nice double duty use of that. Okay.
We
She'll
like to be
lock-
efficient here on the Dungeon
Yeah,
Scrawlers.
we do, yeah. She'll lock eyes with you, initially confused. Eugene? She'll say, what are you all doing? And she's going to close across the hallway towards the room. You in the room preparing, you've got about half that circle set up, Randy. It's very important to spread it evenly. Has to be a real good circle. And this is grave dirt, gross, that you're sprinkling around there. You're lighting candle number 3, Rhiannon. We'll hear Eric in conversation with what is clearly Jenny Calendar out in the hallway. Huh. Do you two have anything for that, or just let's keep setting this ritual up?
I mean, yeah, let's keep going, and she
keep
can come in
going.
if she wants.
There's
Yeah.
no
Okay.
time. Angelus is here to kill you. Get in there.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
feel like anything we would say to like try and indicate to her, Angelus might overhear or whatever. So
Gotcha. So let's be crafty. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Joel and Allie, you are about to
Yes.
take Angelus around a turn. That's going to be tricky. Angelus is a caged animal at the moment, and he's clearly unhappy about the fact that you're luring him down this hallway with this thing. Wait, did I just use the word luring? That's probably not a word I intended to use. Did you have some sort of a plan to get him around that turn?
Yes, okay, so if I don't know, does Allie have one? Because I'm thinking we
Well,
don't
'cause-
actually want to get that far away from the classroom.
Yeah.
I'm thinking once Eric and are we aware of Miss Calendar
You heard her voice, yeah.
behind us? Okay, so once I think we stop there, and then once they're inside the classroom, we back up.
Do we want a metagame with what the DM just gave us? Just FYI. Like, I know I'm not there.
I already wasn't planning on
No.
going too far around the corner. I don't want to
Yeah,
split
I
the party
don't-
up any
just
further.
flash a little neck at
Getting us-
Angelus.
As
Getting
long
us
as he's
completely
not,
out of sight is a bad idea.
yeah,
Okay, making sure.
yeah. I think yeah. Once they're inside, I think we back up and post, either right outside or right inside the door with the crosses still out, repelling him.
Okay, so for now, however, you want to see if you can get him around that turn.
No, I'm not
No.
trying to break line of sight to the classroom.
So you just want to keep him at the turn.
Sure. I mean, if he's at the turn, then yes, I stop advancing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allie, anything to add to that?
No. I will stop when Joel stops, and crosses out, axe is prepped. I'm ready to use it if necessary.
Okay, sounds fair. All right, so Rhiannon, Randy, you're in the room, you're setting up. Eric, you're leading Jenny Calendar, or she's leading you, it's really anyone's guess, into the room. There we are. Eric and Jenny Calendar just entered the Rose. Randy, what's your character's name?
Reggie.
Reggie? What is going on here? She'll say. What are you doing with my orb of Thessala?
So I assumed that this spell would be useful, and we really need it. We need something useful right now, so I started it.
You assumed, what do you know about spells? So Eric, anything from you?
It's a spell to put his soul back in his body, right? Just do the spell.
Okay, so she's now looking at all of you like, what's going on here? And
I'll
you'll
say-
see her.
Oh, I was gonna say. I'll say the powers that be clued us in, said we were needed to help you and to complete this, to return Angelus back to Angel.
All right, and you'll see her eyes narrow a little bit at that. Everybody, please roll a 10-sided die, and that means everybody. Please roll a 10-sided die.
Great.
I
Okay,
rolled
eight.
an,
I got 5.
I got an
5,
8.
a 3, an 8,
I got a
4.
6.
a 4, and a
Mm.
6. Okay. The
I
only
see.
person who is in a position to capitalize on this situation at all is Eric with the 8. You, Randy, and you, Allie, and Joel will realize a moment too late that Angelus, while looking at you, hissing dramatically, was also kind of looking over your shoulders in that general direction to sort of track what was going on behind you. You, Eric, an instant before someone creeps up on the open doorway to the room will realize someone's creeping up on the open doorway to the room and turn in that general direction. As you do, you will see that a fairly stealthy individual has crept up using the shadows along the hallway to position themselves along and near the open doorway. This person is a woman with an almost ethereal, ghostly appearance, slender,
no.
average of height, with a delicate, seemingly fragile frame. Her skin is exceptionally pale and contrasts starkly with her long, dark, wavy hair that cascades down her back and shoulders. Her eyes are large and captivating, appearing dreamy or distant. They're a deep brown, conveying a sense of haunting madness and vulnerability. Her fashion sense is reminiscent of a bygone era. She's wearing a Victorian-inspired dress that enhances her otherworldly aura. It's floor length with lace and velvet fabrics, high collars, and long sleeves, in dark colors, adorned with intricate patterns and details. Her overall demeanor is one of fragility mixed with an unsettling, unpredictable intensity. She's wearing antique jewelry, and she's carrying a little brown dog. She says, as she sees you look in her direction, "Hello, my dears. What curious little shadows we have here, playing in someone else's skin. Sunshine and I, she's talking to the dog. See you, helping the bad teacher with her spells. Naughty, naughty."
I'll say,
So,
oh, okay, sorry.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and the moonlight whispers that Angelus can't love you if you're all dead, and he wants to make everybody dead. We're trying to help you.
All right, so you're trying to persuade her you're on Team Crazy. I mean, vampire. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Something
Okay,
like that.
so-
Damn.
We're in combat again, unsurprisingly. So we're gonna go to intentions, and then we're gonna go to initiative, and then we're gonna go to actions. As you like, you can say something at the start of this round. It'll just occur after you've all declared your intentions. We all know who this is, right? Drusilla.
Yep.
Drusilla.
And apparently a dog named Sunshine, or whatever that's worth in this particular instance. Did we all catch what Drusilla was trying to tell us?
That she knows we're not ourselves. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. That's
Interesting.
good. Okay. So, Eric, you're closest to Drusilla. What would you like to do this round?
Well, I was meaning to use a pipe bomb on Angelus, but I will use it on Drusilla.
How bad
poor
is
dog.
How do you-
Unless she knows how to get us out of the bodies.
I think she's just gonna kill us.
That would be
That
one
would-
way to do it, I guess.
That would get us out of the bodies.
I mean, we could bargain with her.
Ever the pragmatist.
I was trying to do.
Well,
Well,
okay.
Randy may be opening hailing channels as well.
I am gonna do total defense. I position myself between her and the spellcasters. And
Okay,
I will
so-
attempt to engage her in conversation.
All right, so you're going to chat with her and make her go through you if she wants to get to them.
Correct.
Okay.
I got the
Very
sword
much
in one
like,
hand. I got the pipe bomb in the other hand.
very much like the Eric's got to be, I know. All right. Randy, you opened hailing frequencies last round. What are your intentions this round?
Did I finish the dirt circle?
Yes, you did. The
Okay.
dirt circle has been completed. The next step, by the way, for the dirt circle is you've anchored the one white candle at each of the four cardinal directions. You've positioned the orb of Thesla, I apologize, on a bed of red silk, not purple, at the circle's central point. You now need to put animal bones so that spacing them out so they fill the spaces between the candles. That's the next step in the ritual. So go ahead, Andy, you were saying?
Okay. So having completed my part of that, I will raise my crossbow to kind of point not exactly at her, but just sort of casually in her general direction.
Casually threaten her with the crossbow. Yeah.
You know, and hold the crucifix in my other hand, but not expose it yet, and be ready to if she attacks as a defensive action. And then
So much like
say
Eric.
say more or like
Okay.
Do I
you and Eric
continue
are
to try to
kind of
persuade her? Yeah.
kind of doing the same stuff, only you're not blocking the door. That's more or less where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figure Randy and I are kind of working together in this regard.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, Joel, you've been snookered, my lad.
All right. So, I'm going to turn to Allie and say, let's back up toward the classroom and still presenting the cross back away from him so that we are trying to get over to where Eric and Randy are as well. So hopefully we form a circle.
Can we hold him with
I
only
wanna
one
be-
of us?
Well, there will
I
be
wanna
Drusilla
know.
between you and us.
Oh,
So
is Drusilla between us and them?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
And I want to be clear about something. If
Mhm.
you retreat in the direction of that doorway, you will be drawing him towards it.
Right. But he still can't get past us as long as we've got the crosses out.
He hasn't tried to rush you. Does that
This
mean
is
he
true.
can't?
Okay.
I did use that word lure that Rhiannon picked up on.
Yep. In that case, I will turn. Okay. I'll say, Allie, you stay on Angel, and I'll turn around and present the cross to Drusilla and try to go back to back with Allie.
Okay, so
So
to be clear, you
Mhm.
say Allie, you stay engaged with Angel.
I did say that. I probably should
Go with it. Roll with
yes.
it. Roll
No,
with it.
I did. I said
Like
Allie. It's
I'll
okay.
shoot a look at him, but I'll just be like, it's done. It's done.
Okay.
If you can get back there, get back there. Because we're a ways away. We're a ways off now, so I'm not sure that the cross is gonna do much good if you're back to back with me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just trying to keep Drusilla from rushing us.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't want to be attacked from behind,
Right.
somebody's gonna present
We're
the cross in that
isolated, so
direction.
I don't want. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just keep the cross. Like I'm locked on Angelus, keeping the cross on him.
Okay. So that's what you're doing, Rhiannon.
I'm in sunk cast fallacy. Let's do this thing. We can't get out of here anyway. So.
Yeah, okay. So Jenny will say, we need to keep them busy. Here, animal bones. Put them in the
Okay.
like and
So
guide you
she's helping?
through.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Good.
So that's what everyone's doing. So no one's going to necessarily fight right away. So we're going to deal with the talking stuff first. So Eric and Randy were both intending to say something pithy. Your choice, gentlemen, as to which one of you would like
I
to
was going
pitch
to say
first.
pithy, but I was going to try and convince her.
let's have Randy go first.
Okay.
All right. Go
I
ahead,
was going to say, "Oh, beauty, the moonlight speaks. Just like you are a demon in a human body, we are spirits in a human body, as you have detected. And we were sent because Angelus plans to raise a Cathla and destroy the world. And how can you be happy with Angelus, your father, when the world is destroyed? We have come to help you."
Okay, so that's
all
what
you need to
you'll
do is all you need to do is nothing, and we will save you.
Okay, so Randy, Eric rather, Randy is committed to the bit.
Yeah.
So that's going to chew up your talking time. So it's really going to just be Randy and Drusilla that are going to talk.
Yeah.
You're good with that? Otherwise, you're just
Oh.
stepping on Randy's lines.
I am going to look for a vulnerability or an opening of some kind that I might exploit if I need to.
Please roll a 10-sided die.
I rolled a 5. Wow, that's the least definitive roll I could make.
You might not like this vulnerability, but it's potentially a vulnerability.
Mhm.
That's probably just a dog, and she seems fond of it.
Okay.
Make of that what you will from an ASPCA sort of a perspective. Okay. So returning to the conversation. So you will say that, Randy.
Yeah.
And she's listening to you, and then she'll say, as you, Kaplan, you just need to sit there and do whatever. Her expression will wrinkle, and she'll say, lies, lies. The stars whispered a secret, told me of souls wandering far from home. You're trying to mend what's broken, aren't you? But mending is so dull. Let's unravel a bit more, shall we? She seems like she's not buying it.
That's
Bud.
not ominous at all.
Definitely not ominous at all.
No.
I'll say, but you see the future. Surely you see his desire to raise a Catholic.
You want to take away my angel, turn his night into day. But the stars, they sing of chaos, not of order. Okay, so that's going to be combat in the next round.
Okay.
Okay, so Joel, you are holding him at bay, probably.
I'm actually holding Drusilla. I've turned around. I'm trying to hold Drusilla at bay.
Yes, you are holding her at bay from you down the hallway.
You're approaching her.
And yeah, for now, yes.
You will not be holding her at bay from going into that room, which is where she seems to be headed. She's going to need to go through that Eric character to get there, but that is where she seems to be headed.
Oh boy.
All right. Then I will advance down the hallway. And I'll say over my shoulder, Harmony, back up with me and try to, not running down, but moving quickly, still presenting the cross.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So who has a view of the hallway past Drusilla? Joel does, because Joel's headed in that direction. Yep. Allie, you do not, because you're trying to keep your cross only like occasionally looking over your shoulder not to stumble while the angel is stalking in, or Angelus is stalking in behind you, holding that cross with trembling hands at bay. Rhiannon, you do not.
It's possible that I do. I'm a lot taller than Drusilla.
Okay, I'll get to you in one sec. Rhiannon, you do not. Randy, you do not, because you're in the room trying to set up the ritual, trying to talk Drusilla down, trying to keep her from jumping through Eric to get to you. Eric, you might. Could you roll a 10-sided die for me? You're going to need a 19 for a success.
Well, I did roll a 9.
Okay, so a 9 plus your notice plus your intelligence.
So that's 14. No, 15. 15.
All right. So you won't notice this until till the event occurs, right? Mm-hmm. Joel, you get to roll what's the word I'm looking for? D10, and all you need is a 9. So it's your notice, your intelligence, and a D10.
Situational awareness?
Situational awareness only helps you from being jumped from behind.
Dang it. All right, so that's a 7 plus intelligence is 10, and notice 12.
So we know we're not being jumped from behind.
Right.
Yeah.
Good job, Joel.
Behind in this case is behind Angel.
Okay.
So you see someone stalking down the hallway. This person is doing the same thing Drusilla did just a few moments ago, moving from shadow to shadow. But this person is lining up behind Drusilla. You're the only one here who sees this person. He's got a lean, muscular build and stands about average height. His hair is a distinctive bleached platinum blonde, styled to be slightly disheveled but slicked back. His face is sharp-featured with high cheekbones, a strong jawline, and piercing blue eyes that carry a mischievous glint. His skin, noticeably pale. He's wearing red and black clothing, a long black leather duster coat over a red shirt, tight black jeans, and heavy boots. Do you recognize this individual?
Absolutely. And I would, as soon as I recognize him, I will say, gosh, it would be a shame if we succeeded and Spike had Drusilla all to himself again.
All right.
And yeah.
You'll
and
notice,
if I get a roll on that, I would absolutely like to use a heroic feat.
To throw in a persuade on that
Sure.
one?
Yeah, that sounds like an influence thing.
I
It
thought
does.
so.
All right. So what you do is you use the heroic feat to add +10 to
Mhm.
your intel or to your it's persuasion and influence roll.
I don't have persuasion on my sheet.
So then you don't have that skill. So you just
Oh, okay.
roll. Oh no, you have. I'm terribly sorry. You've got a stat, and it may not be persuasion. Hang on one second. Personality. I apologize. It's PER, and I took it as persuasion instead
Yeah,
of.
Well,
I don't.
that's perception.
There's
That's not.
perception.
Oh,
there's
I
no
apologize.
personality.
The stat should be willpower. I should have
willpower,
said
okay.
willpower. I thought it was.
So 2. All right, so that's a 3 plus my 10, so 13 plus 2. So that's a 15 for 4
Okay.
successes.
4 successes is pretty good. So this is a good news, bad news situation. The good news is you succeeded. The bad news is you didn't need to, because that plan was already the plan. Also in the good news, bad news category is we go in initiative order based on dexterity. And the person in this hallway with the highest dexterity is William the Bloody, aka Spike. And so what he's going to do is he's going to leap at Drusilla from behind. Drusilla's menacing you all in the hallway and is about to move forward. He basically tackles her from behind. And his roll versus her defense is higher because she didn't know he was there. As he does that, he will say, "Oi, Drew love, let's not be too hasty," and tackle her in the hallway. So she is now down on the ground fighting with Spike. Okay, so people moving down the hallway. Angelus, seeing that, will curse, Spike, you idiot, and try to rush the person that's holding the cross on him. That's you, Ellie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is a situation where you're going to throw some willpower behind this cross that you're holding. You're probably not going to want to fail here. So if you'd like to do something heroic, here's your opportunity to do that.
I would. Definitely.
What would you like to do?
I had an idea that probably actually wouldn't work terribly well. So what I'm gonna do is trying to think of exactly what I can do here to try to keep him in place. I mean, obviously, you know, throw some will, throw some intent, like, you know, try to keep him locked. But other than just like thinking really hard, I'm not sure exactly what else I can do.
All right. You could, if you had faith in the cross, you could conceivably deploy your faith in the cross, but I'm not sure that that's the case.
Just
Based
sent
on our
you a
Dracula
message.
I
adventure.
saw the message.
Well, it would certainly be a surprise.
It would be a surprise, and in a moment of desperation, I think that it would. You realize I'm probably gonna die if I do this, right?
Look, isn't that what you want?
Keep getting thrown under the fanged bus. Well, so yeah, I guess you know what? YOLO, apparently. I am going to.
I'm interested to see what Buffy YOLO is, but go ahead. Let's see how it rolls out.
Like a decade too early for YOLO.
It really is, but
Angel won't know what that means.
Maybe this is the inciting incident that people start saying YOLO in this world because of this incident.
I'm going to
entirely
have,
possible.
since he's clearly gearing up to like lunge, I'm going to move at him
Mhm.
in a desperate move to at least startle him. I'm going to I can't believe I'm doing this. Kiss him.
Yeah.
While he's vamped out.
Keep in mind that the cross has to be away for you to be able to close on him like that.
I'm aware.
Okay.
You only
fair
lips once.
But I'm hoping it buys
Bang is a
enough.
lot.
I'm hoping it buys enough time, and I couldn't think of anything else to do, so I'm going with the suggestion.
All right, fair enough. That's interesting enough that I'm going to let you go first with that, because what he was going to do was rush you to try to get by you because now his ace in the hole just got distracted. And so he's going to rush you. You're going to drop the cross and move in for a kiss. You'll, boom, smack, connect with him, and he'll be literally startled, not knowing what the heck to do for an instant. You've bought a round of distraction. Okay, so that's you. Kudos.
Nobody would have done that. Joss Whedon wouldn't have written that.
That is true. I do not believe that Joss
Because that is
Whedon would
utter
see that one.
nonsense, and I think it was great.
It is utter nonsense, and
there would be this great shot of like circling around in the hallway, and everyone's like
everyone stops.
Yeah.
But no, I'm like, yes, I'm going with it, but also I'm like, Eric, I'm squinting at you.
I'm sorry.
Squinting fiercely in your direction.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's Allie this round. Joel,
I blame you.
there's two vampires rolling around on the floor.
It's fine.
Do you really want to do crossy stuff? Because one of them seems to be on your team.
I'll turn around and
in time to see Angel.
In time to see that happen.
And Harmony embrace.
I guess that's what you really wanted. And I'll yell, everybody inside, and then
I'm just
book
gonna
it. Try to get everybody into the classroom.
I'm just gonna walk into the sea. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so thank you, Joel. Now, Randy and Rhiannon, you are attempting to assist with this spell, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Miss Calendar will say, I'm sorry, it was Randy, is actually Reggie. Reggie, I need you to light the sage and move in a circle around the circle. Rose, I need you to go to the computer screen and start reading those words. She is, looks like casting runes into the circle. So Randy, do you want to?
Yeah, do I move clockwise or Widdershins?
Clockwise.
Okay.
So Rhiannon, you're looking at a computer screen.
Yep.
There's a bunch of words on it. You're gonna get about halfway down it right now. Repeat after me. What is lost, return.
What is lost, return.
Not dead, nor of the living.
Not dead nor of the living.
Spirits of the interregnum, I call.
Spirits of the interregnum, I call.
Gods, bind him, cast his heart from the evil realm.
Gods, bind him, cast his heart from the evil realm.
Let him know the pain of humanity, gods.
Let him know the pain of humanity, gods.
And that is how far you will get this round.
Like
Okay, so this is an angelic spell. That's what I thought.
So we're working that angle. All right, rolling around on the ground in the hallway is Drew squealing and smacking at Spike, and Spike cursing and trying to pin down Drew. He will yell out to those of you in the classroom, "You lot, I don't know who or what the bloody hell you are, but I don't care, mate. Finish the damn spell already. I want Peaches gone just as much as you do. I'll handle Drew. Focus on getting rid of Angela." What the hell? He's looking at you, Allie.
Look, this just means it was really effective.
We threw Spike off his game.
And now we are in our next round. We'll start with intentions. We're going to start in the room. Rhiannon, I assume you're going to keep reading the spell.
Yep.
Randy, I assume you're going to continue moving in a clockwise direction with that burning sage.
Yep.
Joel, are you closing to interpose yourself in the doorway between the wrestling vampires and?
Okay. Is the dog in a place where I can scoop it up as I get to the doorway?
The dog.
Actually, the dog was dropped in the fight. So
right?
Yes, you could.
All right, then I scoop the dog up as I go.
Dog napper.
Well,
Dog rescuer right now.
It could go either way, but it depends. So I get into the doorway with dog and cross.
funny how the world works. We were a little worried about the ASPCA just a moment ago, and now we should really be
Well,
sponsored by them.
they may still not be happy with me by the end of it.
Okay, I guess we'll see where
Foreshadowing.
ASPCA, call us or don't.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll see what dark place this goes to. Eric, what are you doing this round?
My priority is for them to finish that spell, so I am taking total defense to just deal with whatever comes through that door.
I mean, I'm
All right.
grateful you're not closing it and leaving me in the hallway with 3 vampires.
You should probably
So
be
last-
grateful I'm not looking out going, yes.
So last, but certainly not least, Allie, you've planted a smooch on him. He's got pokey fangs and everything. And if anything, he was just shocked by that, just stunned. But you can see the expression on his face changing. What do you want to do?
Can I try to just immediately book it back to the class?
You
thought-
can.
I thought you were gonna say
attempt to
bite him.
immediately-
No, I'm not gonna.
You can attempt to immediately book it back to the class if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something about vampires. They're kind of like dangerous predatory animals. If you demonstrate prey behavior,
That's true.
sometimes it triggers a predatory response. Now, if he stops to drain you, that's slowing him down more.
Well, I hope this is not a you die in real life situation.
You have
Maybe
10
it's you
drama
become a
points
vampire
left?
in real life.
I technically have not. I did not get off that drama point thing earlier, so I still have my 10. All right,
for
I'm
broke.
gonna. Yeah, I will. Yeah. I guess I will do something to try to goad him into coming after me.
All right,
Which-
so you will exhibit
Yeah.
prey behavior. Okay,
Which
got it.
bolting is prey behavior. So
Yes,
I
that's
will
exhibiting
roll
prey
with that.
behavior. All right. So the way the initiative plays out in this round is Spike gets his arm around Drew's neck and basically applies enough pressure and conks her head into the ground to knock her out. He'll say, "I'm sorry, my love. I wish it could have been another way." And roll over. So he's trying to get up, carrying Drew. Okay. So that's Spike. Next in the initiative action is Angel, who's going to go to attack you, and you'll start to sprint. You'll go to move, and he'll put a hand on you to keep you from going anywhere. This is a 22 grapple. So unless you want to try to stop him with heroic points, blah, 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 there's no stopping this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he'll do what vampires do in these situations, which is he'll spin you in his direction and bite down upon your exposed neck. When the fangs hit you, initially, it hurts a lot. If you've ever been bitten by anyone or anything, ouch. And fangs, so worse than just being bitten by like a human being with flat. It's not a 3-year-old with or without lycanthropy. And so it bites down hard, and you'll feel your blood rushing to the surface of this wound, and he'll start to throatily drink. As he does that, a wave of pleasure hits your system, and suddenly you don't want to fight anymore. Would you like to spend 10 points not to die this round?
Yes.
Okay. You succeed at doing so. Probably because somewhere in the middle of the round, as Angelus is greedily gulping down, he'll realize, moron, they're doing a bad thing in the room.
Just remembered.
And instead drop you to the ground. Okay. So that's hallway. In room is Rhiannon reading spell. Repeat after me. Reach your wizened hands to me. Give me the sword.
Reach your wizened hands to me. Give me the sword.
I call on you, Lord. do not ignore this request.
I call on you, Lord, do not ignore this request.
Let this orb be the vessel that will carry his soul to him.
Let this orb be the vessel that will carry his soul to him.
It is written, this power is my people's right to wield.
It is written, this power is my people's right to wield.
Return to the body what separates man from animal.
Return to the body what separates man from animal.
So shall it be with the help of this magical crystal globe.
So shall it be with the help of this magical crystal globe.
You'll see it's beginning to glow as the round ends. Beginning of a new round. Allie, you're on the ground,
Yeah.
insensate, moaning in pleasure. You're still alive, so there's that. Do you
There's
want to
that.
try to do anything?
Gather my wits, I guess. Like
All right. They're
yeah.
scattered about, so you'll spend the round gathering them.
Mhm.
Joel, you're carrying a dog
And the cross.
and the cross.
And so I'm going to try to get into the doorway and go back to presenting the cross.
Okay, so doorway cross defense. Eric. Anything?
I'm going to try and head off Angelus.
So the second person to throw themselves into the open maw of the nasty vampire.
Look, I started this. I'm going to finish it.
All right, that's entirely fair. All right, so you'll start to sprint off in his general direction.
What are you
Finish the
doing?
spell, Rhiannon.
I'm still being defensive,
Stop.
though.
I mean,
Randy,
not just finish it,
the
but
spell.
Yes.
I assume I pick up the orb and like brandish it at him. So like picking up orb also.
Okay,
Also,
fair
yeah,
enough.
and I have sage in one hand and as I'm walking around, but I'll make sure that I have my cross ready in the other hand. So.
In the other hand, okay.
Yeah.
Dog holding Joel, just blocking door, right?
Yes,
Okay.
with cross. Yeah.
So Angel will go first. He will close in an instant on that doorway, Eric. You will advance to meet him, and he will go to grab you to throw you bodily out of his way. You have a dodge action. You have to beat 22.
I don't want
Do
to
you want to
dodge.
use a heroic thing? No, you want to be
gonna
grabbed.
dodge.
Okay. So his first combat action is to grab you.
I want to hold on.
His second combat action is to throw you bodily away from him across the hallway. You would like to maintain the grapple.
Correct.
Would you like to use a heroic action to do that?
Oh, yes.
This will
What do-
surprise him. You need an 18 instead of a 22 to hold
Cool.
on.
Cool. So that's
Strength, Kung Fu, plus
Okay.
10, plus your
Okay.
die roll.
all right. So I got an 18 with the heroic point because I rolled an 8. And then I add 3 and 3, so I got 24.
All right, so
that's
he'll go.
Mind-boggling success.
He'll go to dismissively toss you with his clearly superior strength into the set of lockers that he threw you in before, and somehow you'll get purchase on his shirt and on his arm, and he'll find himself spinning off in that direction with you, crashing along with you into those lockers, and say, "Stirred," to you as the two of you go rolling in there. Rhiannon, please repeat the last few words of the spell for me. So shall it be. So shall it be.
So shall it be. So shall it be.
Now. Now.
That's part of the word, the spell too. Now. Now.
Okay. You'll feel a rush of magical energy pour from the ritual circle and this orb sort of into you and then into the orb, and you'll see it lights like the sun in front of you. That was wildly intoxicating, that touch of magical energy that rolled through you. And you could see in your mind's eye, like the edges of the universe expanding around you, like it just opened up a wall of consciousness. And you understood the words of the spell in Romanian, in addition to speaking the words of the spell in English in that moment in time. And then the orb will light up. Eric, you're grappling with Angelus, and you'll see his eyes flash that same flash of bright color, and he'll stagger in place, dropping you. Buffy, he'll say, and at that moment, a chasm of darkness will rush up inside all of your minds to meet you, as you will disappear from this world. Congratulations. You saved Jenny Calendar.
And we
Yay!
saved Angel because I was going to stick that pipe bomb down his shirt with my next action.
I thought with that level of success, you were going to take his shirt with you.
You'd have to take the really cool, stylish jacket off.
Well,
over that as well.
I was going to say cinematically, he'd throw me and then he'd realize that I have nothing in my hands anymore because I made a dexterity crime roll to palm it into his clothes.
Sort of a Wile E. Coyote maneuver.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
after he gets his soul back, he then gets pipe bombed. So
Not sure that would be considered a success in the Buffyverse, but okay.
Get wrecked, Angel.
I will
All right.
say, my sheet has a surprisingly high crime score.
Well, you know, she's
Ah.
crafty. She's crafty, that Harmony. I want to thank our
a lot of
friends
shoplifting.
at the Willow's Grimoire, for anyone out there who's really a fan of the show and all of its magic, for giving us the precise words and actions to the Ritual of Restoration,
Very fully
or as it is
researched.
subtitled, or a spell to curse a vampire with a soul, which, by the way,
Oh my god.
very beginning of that tome, it contains every spell Willow casts in the entire show. For those of you who
Wow.
might be thinking of acquiring a copy of
Holy
it.
cow. That's
Wow.
pretty impressive.
It's
Yeah.
super cool.
So there we
Well,
have it.
There we have it. Thanks, everyone. That has been our Buffy the Vampire Slayer special. One shot turned into a 2-shot, but we kept it to 2. Thanks for coming with us. I have been excited to be. I recently had a couple of books come out. They're my Agents of Awesome prequel series for a superhero universe. You can look it up online, or there'll be links or whatever. But they're really good. And if you've liked this kind of teen drama action, you'd probably like those books. Anyway, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford, or Allie for short. As you saw, I was playing Harmony. Not my favorite character in the series, but still, I had a lot of fun. As I mentioned before, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Alexander Pitchford. I have a couple of early drafts of a book that I'm working on that is vampire related. So if you want to check that out, head over there. They are, they are accessible from the $1 tier. So, check it out. Always happy to see what people think. And remind me next time I meet Eric in person to throw something at him.
I'm sure you'll remember.
I'll remind you.
I feel like I'm being pigeonholed is the thing.
Oh, sorry. I've been Rhiannon Held. Check out my books if you like urban fantasy, anthropological werewolves. Check out my Silver series under Rhiannon Held. If you like space opera with internal nanite technology and self-identity and emotional support cats and carbon composite wings and all kinds of good stuff. My Amsterdam Institute series is novellas under RZ Held. And they are just novellas, so you can try one out and get a nice little bite-sized try of what my writing is like. And tonight, whenever we are airing this, thank you to the moderators who are in the chat.
All right, everybody. I've been Joel Everett. Thanks for coming along on this ride with us.
Hi, Randy Henderson. If you like quirky magical creatures, magic, lots of humor, you can check out my Fin Fancy Necromancy series from Tor. Yeah, come over, join us on the Discord, have fun, join the community. And thanks everyone for watching.
And I have been your director for the evening, Chris, aka Chris the Gray. It has been a pleasure. I hope that the Scoobies out there who managed to discover this thing, either who are regular watchers of the Dungeon Scrawlers or who just happen to Google on YouTube Buffy Isekai. Had a good time watching it. I certainly had a lot of fun. Didn't end in exactly the way I expected, but I thought you guys did a great job. And I look forward to our regularly scheduled game when it next begins.